of Direwolves. They go against Gelida, the team that coming into this I had such high hopes for. And look, I think, Mandy, they've lived up to what I hoped they would do. They've stayed competitive, they've looked good, and now I think it's time. BO3's playoffs, this is where this roster needs to shine.
Yeah, look, I think these guys in the last year have gotten through a bit of turbulence as to whether they were actually going to stay as a 5, how that all came about, how they all ended up on this Gelida roster in this org together. But in their hiatus of not playing, I think they've really come back, not just as no cap, but now under an organization named Really Strong. I think they've got a really strong identity as a team. Of course, carrying such a historic name to 4 of the 5 of these players. IDFC has been an amazing pickup for these guys too. And I think going into playoffs, especially off the back of IDFC's last interview, it sounds like they're really ready. Like, they sound like they were quite prepared to go up against Direwolves. I think they knew that they were going to be on this side of the bracket. And I don't know, I'm expecting good things from them today. I think they look very ready to play in this best of 3 series. I think they've got the experience that they're going to have the stamina to make it through all 3 maps. And that's what scares me the most for Direwolves.
That would be the conversation I think that is most prudent to bring up, Dev, is just the difference in the history, the difference in, I guess, the experience that this roster brings in.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, these guys have been to 6 Invitationals and Majors of the past, of course, with the exception of IDFC, the new guy on the roster. But yeah, I don't think we've seen many teams in this region, maybe in any region in the world, that have actually stuck with a core 4 for as long as these guys have. I mean, this is the same core roster of 4 that went back to that 6 Invitational, that went back to the Berlin Major and performed as well as they did. And I don't know what to say about these guys. Obviously, last year was a bit of a rough slog with the no-cap R6 situation when they didn't play under Elevate, and how everything went with that Elevate for them was really unfortunate. Now, Onigiri's on the bench, but these guys are firing up. Like, it's a much better year this year than it was for them last year. They proved that when they took down Fury on Playday 1. They're an experienced roster. They're finally hitting their stride again. They're back in that team house with that terrifying clown on the cams in the background. And I reckon that they are the favorites in this match, despite what Direwolves achieved yesterday. And as I've said many times, the Thai teams have a real special place in my heart because of the history and because of what they've achieved overseas. And so these are like my dark horse pick for the major. I don't think it's likely, but if there's any team that's not the obvious like Bleed or Fury to go to the major, these guys are my pick.
Well, the outside chance is the team they're going up against. Direwolves is in 5th place at the moment, coming into the playoffs, and I think that is fair. I think that this roster right now is on the outside of the top 4. However, that does not mean that you write them off, Mandy. Any given day, they've got a mixture of experience, of young gunners, of new players looking to impress.
Yeah, I think Direwolves are one of those teams that if I'm an Asian team in this region that is not Direwolves, I'm thinking like, okay, these guys, they're the bogeymen of the region, right? I think the way that they play the game and some of the just weird pocket ideas that I think they bring into the server can really catch you off guard if you're not paying attention and just keeping tabs on some of the things that they're going to try and bring into the server. I feel like for Gelida, that actually might be something that they will struggle to deal with. Especially after we saw Direwolves take down Elevate yesterday on Clubhouse. I thought that was a big shocker for all of us on the desk, but I think it was just the brand of Rainbow Six that they brought into the server was just so strange. There was just some really odd things that they did that I honestly, if I was in the server, I wouldn't have known, but I'm not a pro player, and the pro players, I think some of them got caught out by it as well. So yeah, if I'm Gelida, I'm just going to be keeping tabs on every part of the map, making sure that no one's sneaking in and doing something strange.
Is it fair to say that they've kind of kept their childish doesn't seem like the right word, but maybe like childlike atmosphere? Do you feel as though that they have been able to maintain that, as Mandy's alluding to, you know, the kind of unprepared strats that will catch any team off?
Yeah, I don't know how to split it with these guys. Like, they have some nice ideas. To be honest, like, I think as a team, like, they looked the best in their game yesterday. I wasn't hugely impressed with these guys. Like, to be pretty blunt, like, their first few games were closer than they should have been. Like, the games that they played against Daystar, Hasib, and Knock Knock, I thought they were closer than they should have been. I think these guys actually looked worse against those teams than they did against teams like Gelida and Elevate, which in theory would be better competition. And it does speak volumes that these guys almost went to overtime against both Fury and Gelida. You know, they were both 5-7 losses. They could have stolen points out of those games. I was never truly on the Direwolves are actually a solid team bandwagon until we saw what we did yesterday. And it's not just the fact they beat Elevate, but it's the manner in which they did it. They looked like a well-rounded team. It wasn't just like a Joe Gore carry or anything like that. I think these guys do have what it takes, but whether that was a flash in the pan, whether that was a one-off, I'm not sure. I guess we'll see them tested today in a BO3 setting, which is a whole different beast entirely.
It is, and that's where you actually get to see teams' real grit, because things can start to shift quite dramatically. But sometimes a team's grit comes with the individual performances. Mandy, I know that, you know, both of these teams coming into this have kind of, you know, quote unquote picked up newer players. They're picking up players that are younger, that don't have that T1 experience. But to be fair, generally when we talk about those newcomers, it takes a stage for them to get into it. However, both IDFC and Joe Gore have absolutely kickstarted this with a bang.
Yeah, absolutely. Both of them, I think, have come into their teams and played their respective roles really well, and they've just slotted themselves into this group of 5 in such a fantastic way. Joe Gore was quite, you know, he's quite obviously the top-rated player of the league and the superstar fragger of Direwolves as well at the moment, whereas IDFC has played a very different role for Gelida. He's come in and been that middleman for the team and played your operators like your vertical on the buck, like we're seeing there, and like Castle, operators that are not super desirable to be playing, right? If you get shafted on Castle on the strat, you're like, well, damn, right? But IDFC is that person that's come into the roster and has been okay with doing some of the tougher jobs and just fulfilling the shoes of course, the previous player Onigiri, right, who was also a player of similar vein as well. So these two players, even though they're new and even though they've got really great stats between the two of them, they played very different roles in the team, but they've flourished in them as well.
I honestly just want to give the plaudits to IDFC. I think, you know, coming into a roster like Gelida is drastically different to entering where Joe Gore has, for example, on Direwolves. Like, as much as they both are, you know, coming into a roster, they're both new, they're both faces that we haven't really seen or heard from before. Individually, I think IDFC, for me, has been a standout performer in terms of consistency. Joe Gore is just on a completely different level. I don't even know how to start that conversation. I'll be completely honest. He's been ridiculous. But what we can do is shift this conversation a little bit into the vetoes, Dev, as I know you're the veto king. So what maps do you want to see?
So look, if you're Direwolves, you've shown a really good Oregon yesterday, and that was a map that we hadn't actually seen all year from them. So if I'm Gelida, I'm tossing up, am I going to ban out the Oregon or let it through? Gelida do historically have a pretty good Oregon. Now, they're not actually going to go for it in their first 2 bans, so it is left on the table. It's up to Direwolves if they want to jump in on that Oregon or go elsewhere. And they're actually... Okay, so Bank picked by Gelida. I want to know what Direwolves are going to go with here, because... No, so... Well, okay, back to Chalet. So we've seen them play Chalet about 10 million times so far.
Back to Chalet.
I'm actually a little bit confused as to why they didn't go for Oregon, because they obviously, you know, won on Oregon. I guess Gelida also beat Fury on Oregon, but I think Direwolves maybe should have gone for that. Yeah, see, Gelida end up are the ones banning it out at the end of it, so we won't get to see Oregon. I think that would have been a great map for these teams. Like, both teams, bloody awesome on Oregon. Both teams have beaten some of the best teams in the league on that map, and instead, Bank picked by Gelida. We saw them beat Direwolves on this map just a few days ago, a week ago, so I guess that kind of makes sense from them. Yeah, Chalet, as we've said, I don't know if Direwolves keep going to this map even though they keep losing it, so that's on them, I guess.
It's tough, but I guess in a BO3, this is where it is, push comes to shove, Mandy, this is where you've got to perform, right? Bank Chalet Clubhouse is where we head to. Does this change your feeling in the matter?
Oh, not personally. Actually, a little bit. I'm surprised to have seen Gelida play out the veto in the way that they've done, because the way that I view it, Direwolves, I don't think have as strong of a map pool as Gelida do, especially after the back of the IDFC interview. I think he made it pretty clear to us that they seem pretty ready for this veto. And so I'm actually quite surprised to see them go to Chalet, which is clearly a comfort map for Direwolves. Maybe they've got something on them, like they've VOD reviewed them and they must know what's going on to actually have gone to that. But overall, I'm quite surprised with the way that they played it. I thought they would have been able to ban out all the weaknesses of Direwolves. So I'm interested to see what they're going to bring into the server, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing that we've seen so much Chalet. But overall, I don't think it changes my story too much. I still think Gelida will win this one, whether it's going to be a 2-0 or a 2-1. I think they can still do it.
Well, the real campaign for the major starts now. Playoffs, BO3, single elimination. This is where the storylines get interesting. We go to Gelida and the underdogs of Direwolves. We head to Bank, and we've got Guz and Xenox waiting by.
We do. We've been waiting for a little while. I actually just had dinner while we were getting the map veto, so I got that timed perfectly. Big game tonight, and for Gelida, it was a big scare yesterday, guys, all the way to 15th round, 8-7, knock-knock, pushed them to the limit. They get a chance at redemption now in a best of 3. Maybe the pressure's off on these singular maps, but I'm excited for this. Direwolves as well have looked a little bit shaky. I'll be honest, these two teams don't fill me with a lot of confidence.
No, I totally agree. This is going to be a real intriguing game. I'm going in with the expectation that we will see all 3 maps between the two. It's going to be close. It's going to be competitive. It's probably going to be a little bit scrappy, but exciting nonetheless. I think there's a lot of positives that both teams can take into today. And if they can mitigate a bunch of those negatives that maybe we've seen throughout the stage as well, it's going to make for one hell of a game.
We head to Bank first, Chalet to follow after that, and if required, if we do go the distance, Clubhouse would be our final map for this best of 3 quarter-final. Playoffs officially underway for the Asia League, and is it not anticipated a region in which only one spot is available to head to Manchester, despite how stacked especially the top 5 look. Knock-knock playing the 6th man, of course. They will play Elevate after this in the other quarterfinal matchup. But first, Gelida, Direwolves. It's really unfortunate, but someone's journey now comes to an end at the end of this quarterfinal. Technically, there'll be still a 5th place match, but who cares? That's irrelevant. That's not the same as progressing forward. The winner of this match, the winner of this series, will take on Bleed in the semi-final. That is a daunting task. So you're going to want to play well here and take that form into the next semi-final. Montague banned out by Direwolves. Twitch then followed up. Solus, no surprise on a map like Bank.
Yeah, all of these bans making logical sense thus far. Important to note that the Habana has not been banned out, and that should help bolster the attacking hard breach, especially when you think about basement. We'll see if the Kai does get banned out. With Twitch off the board, it would make Kai quite difficult to deal with. Daiwa's identified that and will take him out. With the Solus banned out, that's going to alleviate a lot of pressure, or some pressure at least, in terms of map clearance. Gaining information, pre-placing drones on a map like Bank with how big it is very important. And so the attacking unit of Gelida don't need to deal with that. But yeah, keen to see how these teams both approach this map. Mostly defensively. Daiwa is going to be the sort of team that want to roam around, get aggressive. Considering they're bringing the Vigil and the Valk round 1, I would anticipate that's going to be the case to open things up.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being
Who have you got, Guz? Gelida, Direwolves. Were you impressed with Direwolves' victory against Elevate yesterday? That was on Oregon. Dev brought it up a couple of times. The fact that we haven't gone to Oregon is quite intriguing. I think that win probably gives me a little bit more hope for Direwolves. If I had to give them the edge, it would be the Wolves. Gelida's performance yesterday against Knock Knock really was not great.
No, I totally agree. I think the final play day does give us an indication as to where these teams may truly be at. Completely taking that out of the discussion. Yesterday's results, I probably would have gone in today fairly confident for Gelida, because Direwolves have looked shaky at times. Again, though, maybe we're giving yesterday a little bit too much stock, only a best of 1, who knows. BO3s are going to play out quite differently, and that's why I think it's just going to be so incredibly close. I'm tempted to still back Gelida. It's just my gut feeling that this experienced roster should have enough to get a BO3 across the line, but I'm by no means convinced that they're going to win by a big margin.
Yeah, it's interesting as well, because the narrative, at least from my perspective, was that prior to yesterday, it was Direwolves that looked a little bit more shaky, a little bit more up and down throughout the stage. They looked like the team that was going to maybe fall as low as 6th, or at least hold on to 5th because of the gap between the bottom 3. Whipping around here, and it's basement to begin. Gelida on the attack, and I think they might go fast through Vault. Off the back of the Blitz, Gandalas to follow through behind RDFC. They get the opening kill as well onto Seal, so the Fenrir will fall. There's at least a trade from Pika. Nitrosol got thrown out from Velux. That wasn't able to get the kill. So far, Gelida, though, have been far better in the gunplay towards site. The fast-paced approach has certainly worked. Good kill for Souffle. Does kind of keep the round a little bit in control here. No, never mind. Battle over towards Garage does go the way of Gelida. And the fast-paced effort is super rewarded. That was a really well-worked attacking round from Gelida to kickstart things here on Bank.
Yeah, clean from Gelida, picking up the pace there in the first round, not going for the default push, instead directly from behind, down through Vault, facilitated with the util that they had in terms of being able to flush out those positions. Good way to catch Dival's off guard, and perhaps maybe that has been one of Dival's biggest weaknesses, or bigger weaknesses at the stage, is maybe not adapting quickly enough to what high quality opposition can offer. I like that from Gelida. Is that going to be a theme that persists through every single round in this match? Most certainly not. However, it's definitely going to now be in the back of the Direwolves' mind defensively going forward in this series that Gelida are not going to shy away from that aggressive playstyle at times.
I mean, it's the perfect start, though. We're sitting here maybe wondering about yesterday's performance against Knock Knock for Gelida. What are they going to bring to the table? That's really the best way to kick things off. You know, set the pace nice and early. Good set play that pays dividends. And Direwolves, well, I think that's a bit of a wake-up call. You're not really going to allow that 2 rounds in a row either. So smart from Gelida. They just don't even bother. Instead, they'll play a more conventional roam game clear. They bring the Jackal, the Dockerby, so really nailing that down. And then for the on-site, you've still got the Ying. A couple of smokes. I really do like this lineup for Gelida. It covers kind of both avenues. The early portion of this round with lockers and CCTV, typically you'll see some kind of roam up above, depending on the team. They might go for a 5-stack, but there's a vigil in play, indicating that there is going to be a roam. And then you've still got really good operators as well for the on-site push eventually later in the round. Yeah, no surprise about that. Jokel goes for the jump out. Just as the stat was brought up, with the highest EPS in the league, he just throws his life out of the window, and he's 0-2 to start in the quarterfinal. All of these rounds, all of these maps are so important, and the highest rated player in the league has not been able to find a kill.
Shutting down Jogor is certainly going to be a big win condition, I think, for Gelida throughout this match. Throughout this series, it's going to be impactful. Punch thrown back, though, from Pika. Still inside of bot square. Finished off is Mark with that impact grenade. So a good little opportunistic play there from the defense, making up from the shortfall that Jogor has left. Losing the Jackal now may mean that clearing these defenders on the roam, such as Seal top main, becomes a little bit more challenging. Still Logic Bomb for IDFC, and good execute util with Sapper still standing as well on the Ying. But maybe an opportunity here for Seal to give his team now the advantage.
Just under 90 seconds left. I think at this point, Direwolves, if they want to head back down to basement, certainly an opportunity, but happy to just sit over towards Stafford open area. He got quite low, but so is DCH. It's a very even round towards the box for a push here for Gelida, towards bot square, and Seal finds one towards top main on the defensive Direwolves. They haven't cleared full second floor. Punish. And Gelida largely focused with that open area. Hold. Souffle then gets a kill onto Sapper. DCH slips in towards elevator side of the hallway. It does have a bit of yellow ping information. It's a swing, should be a kill. No.
Ooh.
Low on health. But it was a headshot anyway from Seal. And IDFC, the solo now for Gelida. The fast-paced round in the opening round was incredible. A little slower here in the second round. And unable to really make anything work, despite the fact that Jogor quite literally threw his life out of the building to begin this round. They had an early advantage, but struggled to clear this defensive hold up above.
Yeah, certainly a stark contrast to the first round. Dai was making up for the shortfall earlier on. Taking out the Jackal was clearly impactful. The rest of the roam then proving to be challenging to clear. And those first 2 rounds, I think, have the potential to really set the tone of this match. Gelida may now be thinking that going forward, they want to continue to be as direct as possible, maybe until it doesn't work. Will, of course, be objective dependent. And arguably, that is one of the easier objectives, to be more direct on bank, depending on how you want to play it. So we'll certainly approach his top floor. In terms of how Gelida want to approach, whether it's going to be a top square clear, then stock hall. An opportunity, though, if they want to continue to be aggressive, to hit from the rappel, bring that Capital, maybe the Ying once more. Replay that previous round, DCH good presence of mind to find that pick. Pika lurking bot square was good, and then Seal just wasn't cleared. Not tracked, Logic Bomb's ineffective. Multi-kill from him. And so we'll see if they can bring that momentum now into the third round.
Hey, good start to this series as well.
Attackers must
Two teams that I would sort of value at the same level. Two teams that, for all intents and purposes, have got every capability of sending us to Clubhouse, the deciding map, the third map. Every round going to be so important. Expecting this to be back and forth. You can kind of throw a lot of statistics out the window, especially on Bank and Chalet. Mr. Punch, top blue. Swift entry again here for Gelida this time around, straight in towards Archives, and can get some dirt down below. Looks to find some gadgets that he can maybe take out from below. I think, yeah, you're right. The pace for Gelida opening round, you can't really replicate that, not only every round, but also site dependent. But I think the mindset has to be similar. How do you approach these rounds? You can't just get stalled out. You know you want to clear positions like Janitor, do it quickly. Bring over that Capitao, clear it out, try and get a kill. Pinch pressure, do it all nice and early. Kind of like Mr. Punch with the entry. Archives and Tellers down below, clear out some utility. He's done it pretty early in this round. Mark now on the rappel outside airlock. So just kind of going through the checklist and through the motions.
Yeah, Dai wasn't really too eager to contest down below. They'd have to go in blind, makes sense. Space now forward-footed top square as well, and you can see the blind being held by Sapper. Souffle, though, with the long line of sight and response, able to find one. Peek up, Felix also in the meantime finding one apiece as well. So not entirely sure how those fights have come into fruition, but clearly not traded by the attack.
Yeah, didn't get to see it, but I mean, we saw Mr. Punch roaming kind of down below first floor. Ark was on the rappel. Sapper was slow lurking top square. Nothing wrong with that at that point in the round. Actually, just got a collat. He just got a collat. One in behind towards long desk, and he happens to get that kill. Suddenly now makes it a 1 versus 2. On to the ace. Flash in towards Janitor. One top main. Can't get the kill onto Seal. Oh, got a little spicy there. But not spicy enough. Double hold on. And Seal, look how low he was. By the end of that, had he lost that fight, it would have been a straight 1 versus 1 with a decent amount of time. Not to beat. But questionable 2 rounds now for Gelida as they've kind of slowed their pacing down outside of a fast-paced rush on basement, which is kind of a gimmick in some ways. Like, you're not really going to look at that as a set play. We'll watch this again for Sapper. There's the lineup.
Imagine all 3 lined up. It almost did. Would have been very winnable then.
But the issue for me is that you can't replicate that opening round. Like, that's not something that you sit back and go, okay, let's just do that again, because that worked. That's not the conventional way that you're going to approach Bank. Direwolves right now, for me, just looking a little bit better because the way they're playing is emulated between these rounds. They look a little bit better overall. And that's without Jogor fragging.
Yeah, once Jogor gets activated, it could seriously get concerning. I mean, the last 2 rounds have played out fairly conventionally. Round number 2, which was the reattempt down below. Gelida did win the opening kill again, still lost the round. And then that most previous round gone. Round number 3 up above. Direwolves got that opening kill themselves and they converted really cleanly. So finding win conditions for Gelida in rounds that they anticipate to play conventionally is looking a bit rough. Jogor on for a spawn pick. Lands it. Not enough for the kill though. Sapper will be 1 shot though for the remainder of the round. So a bit of pressure on him now to ensure that he's not taken down, because those E1D scans are going to be really important in locking down the defense. It's about getting map control here and just chipping away slowly, I think, for Gelida. And if they're going to bleed picks, they need to be making sure they're getting traded. It's the big thing that let them down in the last round.
Yeah, not playing as a set unit. A lot of individual plays and individual positioning. You know, in that last round, Mr. Punch, solo in Archives. Mark solo on the rappel. Sapper, solo top square. It's fine, it's Bank. You're going to spread out. Even here, solo entry, basement. It's understandable. But it means that trade potential is just not quite going to be there when it does come to Gelida. Direwolves are well positioned on site. They're not throwing their lives away. I say that, and I watched Jogor, who, well, did quite literally do that a couple of rounds back. Running around with the boss down the Vigil, loses that battle. No, yeah, well, they traded. Never mind, sorry, didn't lose it. So trade with IDFC, 1 for 1. Vigil does get taken down. No Brava, no Clutch drones for the remainder of this round. ECH will vault back out. And a little bit of a reset moment here for Gelida. Open area Staffroom, the round, 90 seconds left here in the fourth. Pika stuck over towards Archives, has been pinged out. Should be a kill for Mr. Punch. Shot early! He shot way too early, gave position away, and Pika's going to be able to get the easy swing. 3-4 in favor of Direwolves. And Gelida, again, just not in these rounds. At least not leading them. That was a moment, though, they should have capitalized on.
Yeah, they're just looking shaky at the moment, Gelida. 3v4. This is going to be a tough round for them to be able to convert from here. Probably going to be relying on Sapper being able to get an entry point and or mark. Kid Barriers, though, going to make that a challenge. DCH at least has Diffuser, and they might be able to open bot quad. In fact, it's already open, so we'll see if Mark can exploit this.
50 seconds, easy one for Mark. But at that same moment, Lux got one. That's at least a nice kill with Pika being so close. Quick reaction from Mark.
Diffuser above, though. So,
Yeah.
round over.
And also, Sapper and Mark are very low. 30 seconds. Still a little bit of time over towards Stock. And Felix will actually take key position here to block that. Still outside of the window. Yellow ping and the shield he plays. Not a lot of time remaining. Flash, and as soon as that was out of his hands, Souffle gets the kill. Sapper makes entry. Felix still wins that anyway. And Direwolves make it 1-3. Very dominant start here on Bank. And a reminder, this is the map pick of Gelida. Great start on the defense. And I think Direwolves right now just look like the better team.
Yeah, certainly they do at the moment. Now, this could be a case of being quite a defender-sided Bank, so we'd always have to wait and see how the second half precludes, but certainly at the moment, Direwolves are playing better. And it doesn't feel as close inside of the server as I was anticipating going into this game. And if anything, I thought, you know, map 1 being Jalida's pick, we could see them run ahead of it a little bit, because Bank can sometimes tend, especially on a team's preference map, to lean to the attack. It's not been the case so far. Again, presenting too many ones around the map. That one-for-one trades are fair enough. Mr. Punch should be winning that fight. Mark eventually got his way through, so good work there exploiting the quad entry. Then shut down that swing there, really sharp reaction times. Unfortunately though, Diffuser then got stranded on an island up above. Souffle supported it so nicely, knowing that Felix was going to be under a lot of pressure and the attack had flashbangs, so if he had been left on his own, then maybe we could have seen the round brought back, but unfortunately not enough time there for Gelida to clear top floor properly. Proved to be quite costly. Now we go back down to basement. Gelida going to go for a standard lineup, so once again a map clear. No Jackal though this time. Equally, we're not going to see the Vigil from Jogor.
Certainly a factor though for Direwolves that Jogor is 1-3, but they're up 3-1 on defense. Bank, you're right, could be defender-sided. We don't know. I'm going to be honest though, I might play devil's advocate to that and say, well, Bank's a pretty decent map when it does come to attacking. We haven't seen it all that often, only twice so far in Asia League, but in those two games, 55%. And it's been a struggle, even on sites like Lockers and CCTV. No guarantees, and I'm not going to spend the time to try and find which games those were. I wouldn't really pay too much mind to that subsample, but the rounds from Gelida haven't been really all that close, especially in the early portions of these rounds. And a good little statistic there as it gets popped up. Stage 1 2023 LCQ, though, was a long, long time ago. I mean, quite literally this point last year. 7-3 to Direwolves, though. An interesting stat that could be replicated here with the way things are going. Sapper getting some good information over towards admin. They can open up the hatch. Slow approach once again for Gelida. And a big change up to the lineup for this Lockers CCTV. Not employing the Jackal. Not looking to bring as much roam clear. Getting off the IQ. They bring the Bach. They bring the Yana. With that can get some decent information with the Gemini. Good flank watch as well towards Beepers with that drone placed.
Well, it's Jogor to win the entry battle this time around once more. So that's back-to-back entries for Direwolves off the back of Joe.
Bomb located by attackers.
Last time it was converted as well. That's certainly not the best of starts here for Gelida. Sapper as well, the top fragger currently on that Yana. Would have been a key figure in finding an entry pick in this round back. So looking like Gelida will shape up for another back hit, although the pacing has now slowed down. See how Direwolves pivot their defense in response. Critical that they get the likes of Pika watching these positions, still a gas babe in hand. Goyo canister is also still in play, although the one bot main, I don't think they'll be able to pop.
I should mention, of course, these two did play on bank just last week. But I guess if you want to go as far back for LCQ results, you could. Gelida did win it, by the way, 7-5, and they had 4 attacking rounds in that particular game. Mr. Punch with a very pivotal kill, but there's very little time remaining. Drop into Vault. With DCH death, I think, could that be kit down? I imagine it is. Still garage control, and IDFC does collect the kit and go for the plant inside of lockers. Not too sure if anyone's close enough to get the denial, and a big kill onto Jogor for Mr. Punch. Now puts Seal into the 1 versus 2. Slips over all the way to bot main, and an easy kill for Mr. Punch, and there you go. Gelida finally makes something happen. It's a very late round attack, reminds me of 2020, the 22nd meta, but it does work. Good vault drop, good kills, good re-pick up on the kit plant as well, and a massive kill onto Jogor. Had that not happened, well, the round would have gone the way of Direwolves. 3-2, 1 round to go in the half.
Yeah, a little bit cleaner there from Gelida. Time management probably leaving a bit to be desired, and again losing that entry fight. However, they made up for that in the late round with a lot of good information. Being forced into the plant, never comfortable for the player, then left to cover, but did a good job isolating both ones. Pretty confidently cleaned up there in the end from Gelida. And with 2 attacks in the half, if their defense is solid, it might not be all that bad. But we'll see. Top 4 has been unsuccessful for them. Last time Direwolves, despite losing the entry battle, oh, pardon me, they won the entry battle and then were able to close out that round as well. Warden once again in play, much like it was last time. And that will prompt Gelida to not bring the Ying. We saw the Ying prominently in that first round for that aggressive rush, and we haven't really seen it too much since outside of the second round.
Yeah, if Gelida can find this last round of the half, I think it puts them back into a position where they can kind of back in their own defense. Good entry, or opening kill for Mr. Punch, and Jogor once again goes down. 5 deaths in the opening 6 rounds is not ideal for Jogor. Immensely struggling to have that super large impact. He certainly hasn't been without his moments, but not the Jogor level show that we typically get. Good start for Gelida, and just working their way back into this game because it started to get a little bit, dangerous for them. Down 3-1. Good defensive rounds from Direwolves. Gelida was struggling. The only round they had won was a bit of a gimmick round on the rush in the opening. But these, well, last round, now this round, have certainly been far more conventional. Can they continue to just double down, find another kill, really open things up? Nitrocell from Pika. Oh! Wow.
Wow.
Wow, I was not expecting that to get all the way through the window. That is a sensational Nitrocell from Pika, and I think changes the complexity of this round now with the kill from Souffle. Making life very difficult for Gelida, despite the opening kill from Mr. Punch. It has flipped on its head to close out this opening half, but DCH on the Repel also will get 1 for free. So 2 kills on the Repel for Gelida. Brings it to a 3 versus 3, but a great swing from Felix inside of Janitor. And once again, Direwolves will take the lead. This has been a strange old round.
Yes, this has been a little bit peculiar. And DCH now lurking through lobby. We'll soon face Souffle. Repel comes in, so a distraction here. Can they pinch this position? DCH will. Spotted on that mirror window though through long desk. Position of both players now confirmed off the back of the Valkyrie camera. And if there's another cam on site, which I assume there is, currently being spectated by the defense, Gelida are going to have a hard time pushing this site.
Good kill for DCH, and my goodness, this round has not quite followed a normalized script. Felix at a 1 versus 2 with DCH low. Still a bit of time, 30 seconds with a Nitrocell available, but he gets chunked down to half health, and he loses that battle on the re-swing to IDFC. What a strange old round for, quite honestly, a strange old half. Big round for Gelida gets them to a 3-3 scoreline to close out their attacking half. And honestly, by the point that Nitrocell had exploded out of the hands of Pika, I thought that it was going to be a round Direwolves would be sure to win. not to be. And a good response from Gelida. After going down 3-1 early, they win 2 rounds in a row to close the half out. Now, go into their own defense, and this is where we can start to figure out, will this be defender-sided? Will Direwolves have the ability to also attack into these rounds?
Attackers need to
Go to
locate
CEO Executive to begin the second half.
Yeah, Gelida have done a decent job here in correcting course. Round 1 was really great from them. Explosive entry in towards that basement. Re-hit. Pace then slow. Direwolves 3 straight. Gelida respond themselves. The rappel game in this previous round proving to be quite deadly. Really good use of the previews there from Pika. Top stairs in that banana position. Able to lob that one out the lone window. But again, the rappel just was so strong from the attack. And despite the Valkyrie being up late in the 2 versus 1, it wasn't enough to change the tide of that round back in favor of the defensive Direwolves. So we switch sides now.
Attacker's objective is to defuse a bomb.
And we'll see who ends up on top. Information gathering is going to continue to be a theme throughout this half to kick things off. Echo from Mr. Punch. But I like this from Direwolves. They're going to immediately respond with info of their own. The 0. Quite easy to hide those cameras in a map as expansive as Bank. And they'll double down with Ying as well. We didn't see a whole lot of Ying again outside of the first 2 rounds from Gelida, but Direwolves was willing to bring it out here in round 7.
Get a reminder, this is Gelida's map pick. So the slow start for them was certainly concerning. But they turned it around. Good position now. Interesting to see the 0 employed on Direwolves as Velux looking to straight away get a bit of Mez control and open up this wall. Nika up above as well on the roof of top square. A lot of repel in this round from Direwolves, but Jogor gets aggressive towards Stock. Bit of help as well from his team if he wants it, but so far happy to just go solo. He loses his life. Plays by himself towards Stock. Doesn't win his 1. It's been a familiar story for Jogor in this game. He's just not winning his 1s.
Cover the diffuser.
Yeah, just having one of those days, unfortunately. Will that be the kryptonite for Direwolves tonight? If he's not able to find himself back into the match, can the rest of the team stand up? Losing the ace as well certainly doesn't help, but at least they have Felux's back up on that Hibana for hard breach at range. Double repel, in fact triple, with Souffle looking in towards front desk position, oddly enough. Puts Mark on an island, but has that deployable shield to play behind. Opportunity goes begging in through top square. I believe that was Felix. You find that kill and it's pretty much round over. Doesn't land though. Smoke's deployed. And perhaps we'll see Divers look to aggress immediately off this. 4 Candelas for Pika to play with.
Still really well positioned on site for Gelida. Seal somehow finds a kill. Zappa loses his life and just maybe brings the round back into a certainly winnable round. Into airlock they go off the Candelas from Pika. Good little shot as well from Pika. Getting that kill onto Mark. But they haven't cleared out Janitor on a big Nitrocell. That is certainly going to get a kill onto Souffle. Felix and Seal with it all to do. Otherwise, 3 rounds in a row for Gelida on the board. 1 flash, then 2 flash buff. Why that still needs to be dealt with. And a shotgun that you think from here should be too good for DCH. Indeed it is. Gets them both. 3 in a row for Gelida. And worrying signs now for Direwolves here on Bank as they are unable to stop this momentum.
Yeah, it's becoming a bit of a concern now, Jogor on entry. Sure, he is going 2-3, but they've only actually converted 1 of those occasions where he was able to win that opening duel back in round 4. And losing it there in that previous round, it already just compounded the amount of pressure on the rest of the attack. I think they pretty much immediately decided to pivot, play hard into the repel game, and pray that the Ying was going to give them enough value with the smoke canisters and the Candelas. And as evidently seen, it didn't. Gelida response was pretty sound. And an opportunity now to mount a bit of a streak. Look back at that last round. Really good entry there from Sapper. Difficult angle for Jogor to contest. Diffuser then over towards airlock, made it tough. DCH was never flushed out properly. Side of Janitor. The displaced util of the Ying not impactful enough there.
10 seconds to insertion.
They are going to double down though. Ying into round 8. Don't know whether or not they've spotted DCH on the Warden, but that's certainly something they'll have to keep in mind.
Attacker's objective is to locate a bomb and defuse it.
Well, we say this from time to time, though, for Direwolves. It can't just be the Joe Gore show. He can't be the only one that's able to win them rounds. And statistically, you know, Seal, Souffle, they're fragging. Been a good game from Pika. Felix is probably not the kind of guy that needs to really put in significant numbers either. But it is quite strange to me that, well, the highest rated player of the league is 2-6 in a playoff match. With a lot on the line, this is when you really want said top player of the league to be fit and firing, and at 2-6, he's the clear standout. It's a sore thumb moment. Down to basement, Lockers and CCTV, and Gelida are looking more and more in control of this game of Bank as we progress and we continue. Logic bomb from Joe Gore, and he's used that pretty early in this round, top square, but looking to, of course, see if there's any lurks up above. If there are none, we can see that. Eventually, he can facilitate his way down towards main. Oh,
That was a frame.
yeah. He gets that. On a normal play day, he probably finds that kill. It's just not going his way today. Certainly had his opportunity. Mr. Punch and Mark both able to get away from those respective duels, keeping themselves alive for Gelida on the defense as they did look to contest a little bit towards Starford Open. Now it'll be 5 on site with DCH over towards Blue Stairs, holding on the top side of it. Mr. Punch will just tuck himself in. Vulcan canisters have already been set over towards default plant. IDFC holds towards elevators. And, well, with a minute 20 seconds remaining in the round, it's now up to Direwolves to make their way towards site. But they haven't cleared DCH. With the deployable shield on the Warden, he can hold for as long as he wants.
Yeah, time's going to be a pretty serious concern here for Direwolves. They're likely going to have to go for a backdrop or a hatch drop in towards the objective itself. Zoto canister placed to try and stall out both hatches, but no longer having an impact on the Maverick means that it's pretty easy for Felix to get out of that situation with the hatch opened up. Souffle and Mr. Punch trade blows. 40 seconds on the clock. Castle barricades now pose a threat. A lot of stall out utilities still available here for the defense. But canisters as well. Doesn't bode well for Direwolves.
And DCH as well is able to put... Oh, Joker! Late flank from Blue. After DCH had pushed off a bit, guess what? There's a castle barricade. Well, if there's no rotate hole, I'm not too sure if there is, but he does make a bit of a sound. Joker does get the kill onto DCH. It might just be opened up. Vulcan canister blown. Perfectly timed. What a rotate from Mark on site. Should be able to get the double kill. And did. Well, teammate kind of stole it at the end, but nevertheless, you could see Mark's rotate at the end. It was so pivotal. Nicely timed. Jogor gave his position away early as well. Shot as he was coming out of bot blue. And even though he did get that kill, his presence was already known. Server in towards CCTV. 4 rounds in a row now for Gelida, and a tactical timeout rightfully taken.
Yeah, a bit of a crisis meeting, I think, at this point for Direwolves. A latter portion of that round, they looked a little bit lost. I think a lot of that came off the back of being stalled out with that castle setup. Certainly something you don't see every day with the exterior doors in towards the objective blocked off. They didn't ration util properly to be able to clear that quickly. Players left trying to melee, and then it was quite a split attack. Clearly the timing was off as well. Go canisters were never dealt with because they're not electing to deal with that earlier on into the piece. I understand that Twitch is banned, so it makes it challenging, but still something you've got to be conscious of. Regardless though, this is a critical tactical for Direwolves. If they don't get value from this, the map's going to be over pretty swiftly. Now it is Gelida's map pick, so can't be too negative for the Direwolves. And maybe a map like Chalet is going to favor them a little bit more. But I would also counter that by saying that on Chalet, you need to be a fluid team that's hitting shots and exuding confidence. And here on Bank, we're just not really seeing that. And a large reflection of that is Joe Gore 3-7 not playing up to his standard at all.
No, he's not. But it also can't be a case of, you know, if Joe was 13-7 right now, where would Direwolves be? Would they be winning this game? Would that be the difference maker? If that is the case, then that's a lot on the shoulders of just one individual. But I think the biggest issue right now for Direwolves is just simple team play. They don't look like a team that's on the same page, not as coordinated as what we're seeing from Gelida. They went 3-1 up, and yeah, I think they played relatively fine on a lot of those defensive rounds. Gelida kind of just went up a gear, and Direwolves have not been able to match them. Out of this tactical timeout now, very important round, very critical round. Joker on the Ash needs to start finding a couple of kills. That's his role. He's the fragger. He's not going to give you supportive plays. He's not going to be playing backline. His role is to get entry kills, to find kills. Plus 11 this stage on the entry. That is a league high. Reap's the closest at 8, and that's Reap's. In fact, the only 2 players in the league with a 1.25 or above rating is Reap's and Jogor. That is the level. That is the company. And if you want to go even further, he's the only one above 1.3. So the issue, though, is his survival rating is also quite shockingly low. It's league average. It's in the middle of the pack. We've kind of spoken at times with Jogor, and you know, he can kind of do really, really well, but he does die a lot. And right now he's just doing the dying without doing everything else really well.
In the last 3 rounds, again, entry going the way of Gelida. They're converting that. I was struggling in that aspect of the game at the moment, and no doubt that's something they would have been talking about. While they win it this time, though, Seal onto Sapper. DCH now on a bit of an island and could be pinched with Pika, I believe. Maybe not. No, there we go. Wasn't DCH, but instead IDFC down main. Don't know if DCH is going to look to aggress on this particular position. Looks to be now quite content on site itself. But 4v3 here looks favorable for the attack.
Yeah, and a good power position as well that can be held towards Beepers. Mr. Punch, maybe he could slip out and try and go for a bit of a flank. Right now, just kind of hovering towards Archives. Another kill below for Gelida, and then is Pika losing his life. And the yellow ping on the prone player, top square. It's the freest kill you'll ever see. What in the world is Jogor doing? 2 versus 2. Felix position known over towards Stock, and Seal just comes out of Janitor. Mark and DCH. Well primed on site, and Nitrocell available for DCH, but not really in the position to probably use it. I imagine he's just anticipating some kind of drop from Stock. Seal with the one final Salma to get some pressure over towards quad wall, bot square, 25 seconds. Now slow lurk through admin. Doesn't have kit. Felix is the one with kit, and that's an easy kill for Mark. Straight headshot. And that's going to give away Felix's position. And with that, 12 seconds, and has to hit some really gnarly shots. Can't do it. Gelida make it another round. Well, a startling turnaround here in this quarterfinal. Direwolves shot out of the gates, but feels like they went too fast and pulled a hamstring, because now they're down match points. 5 rounds in a row.
Yeah, it shouldn't be this defender-sided. It's really difficult to ascertain exactly what's going wrong with Direwolves at the moment. I think it's just key communication errors, especially as to what's being watched on flank. This here from Mr. Punch just shouldn't be allowed. It was traded, to be fair, but even then, 2v2, split push. They didn't know that the window is armied off, and so that tradable position was pretty quickly denied.
Rehost. Yeah, and I mean, even in this technical timeout right now, I don't think it's going to help Direwolves. I really don't think it's going to really make a difference here. Gelida have just looked in total cruise control. Man, these two teams, both of them, equally, just so up and down. I don't know what I'm going to get from them. Yesterday, Gelida almost lost to Knock Knock. Knock Knock had 3 match points, guys. 3 opportunities to just straight up beat Gelida, which would have been pretty unheard of. It's not often we see teams from South Asia being able to beat teams from Southeast Asia, especially a roster of Gelida's experience and caliber. Also, shout out Mr. Joe Gore with the Xenox chair, as always, helping out my company. But Direwolves as well. Yesterday, they go and beat Elevate. They look great. We think, okay, they're back. maybe even to a new level. They start well here, and then it all just goes away. What the hell can you expect in terms of consistency? It's impossible. Unfortunately, rehost here in play, as we've kind of alluded to. So we're going to go to a short break. When we come back, we will play out the final stages here of this bank.
What just happened? It happened too fast.
When there's 4 people on basement on a turtle, why is no one watching garage? Turtle's just walked in. It's questionable. There was a nice clip, nice shots. Yeah.
What's the next play? Next play from Lee.
Everybody is turning his back to him.
What is Elevate doing?
He's just so tired showing his gun skills. He's just going from Harry Potter and killing everyone.
Man, that speakeasy guy and that RP guy, they're just absolutely trolling. I don't know what those guys are doing. They need to just stop trolling, really. Yeah, they're griefing. That's all there is to say about that.
Oh, what? How could they lose?
Wow. Not even close. Not even close from Stun Heart.
This is a very good clutch from Pete.
They've got elbow control, they can just sit. Plant default, hold the cross. Ash can play far back, but well played by Beat. He took advantage of the situation, but I'm not sure Ash running at the last guy in the 3v1 was super smart thing to do.
You win every 1v1, so... That's like...
Look, 1v4. Oh.
5 seconds.
Everybody is giving free picks.
That's just well played. This guy just isolates the ones really well and hits some nice shots. That's a really nice clutch.
Souffle swiftly steals that away. Seal as well claims his 13th kill. Looking for number 14. 15 would get the game in his hands.
I heard of jump in. And I prefer the jump in, but I think I could do better. Like I can just hide or no. I'm not sure. I'm not really sure. It's a good play. As I win.
Actually, I think they didn't have the proper information about this guy in laundry. So they all were just blindly rushing and going for the plant. I think lack of information costed them.
And the 1 HP clutch. They sat there in TeamSpeak after saying, bro, he was 1 HP.
Bomb located by attack. Seconds left. Bomb diffuser has been dropped. 10 seconds remaining.
Ace! Oh, okay. Good play, good play. Good round. Good round from No Cap.
Crazy reaction time. Insane flicks.
This is just Onigiri show. Just what he loves to do. Like he's very good mechanically, so he's just abusing that skill. Skilling, swinging everything and killing everyone.
Oh yeah, Onigiri is just crazy. That guy is just nuts. There's not much more to say about that. He's just... Every fight he took, he won. Yeah, that guy's nuts. That's a nice clip. That was really well played. I'm pulling up the Wikipedia for this one. I'm going to go with Speakeasy R6 as the primary entry player for my super team. And then we're going to go and we're going to get Reaps96 from Bleed entry. We'll have 2 superstar entry players. I have to pick a coach from neither of those 2 teams. I'm going to go with the GOAT himself, Rando Sando, R6 from Denmark. You know what? Because I was so impressed with the Lycolis shotgun on Oregon. We're getting Lycolis just to play mirror. Why not go for Joe Gore from Direwolves? He's a new player they picked up. I think he used to be on APR. Last player, Onigiri from Gelida. I think he's a sub this season, but he might not be. We'll go with Onigiri. So we've got all the frag power in the world. Rando Sando, mastermind behind the scenes. Easy team. Easy wins.
The first player came in my mind is PJ from Fury, I think. Yeah, PJ. I think the second one is Harvard from Bleed.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, into the 10th round. We go final round potentially. If Gelida do take this out and look to make it a 7-3 victory on their map pick of Bank, Direwolves will need 3 rounds in a row to send this one to overtime. Executive and CEO for this particular round. Gelida have certainly, well, they've gone up maybe about 2 or 3 levels, guys. They started quite slow. I mean, well, the opening round wasn't slow, but the next 2 after that certainly were, and Direwolves were up 3-1. Since then, 5 rounds in a row. And Direwolves haven't really looked like breaking the stranglehold that Gelida have gotten over this game.
Yeah, shout out to James for highlighting it. I'm just looking at it now, as of where we sit. In the current moment, Gelida are actually the best defensive team in the league right now. So they're at 71.1%, just edging out Fury at 69.4%. So that doesn't bode particularly well for Direwolves in their attempt to close out this game. Gelida will have multiple opportunities across various sites if required to get this game across the line. And unless that technical pause has really stalled the momentum for Gelida, which I kind of doubt, to be honest, it's just naturally going to be a difficult game to bring back. Gelida have built up this round streak now, standing strong at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rounds. Get this at 6 straight. And then certainly would throw into disarray the series a little bit as to whether or not Direwolves can bring it back over on Chalet, where I think a lot of the weaknesses they've presented in this match are probably only going to be exploited tenfold on a more open map like Chalet. But we'll see. Long-range impact EMPs from the Direwolves. They deal with Kanto Wall cleanly to open up proceedings.
Obviously, we've had a bit of a rehost, but if I reminder, yeah, it's been a struggle for Joe Gore. 3-8 in this game. Lost the EPS inside of the server. This be where he can turn things around, get a couple of really good rounds under his belt. I mean, at this point as well for Direwolves, they just need to probably find some form going on the next one. Seal with an opening kill onto Mike is important for Direwolves. I have actually been able to get a decent amount of opening kills so far in this match, but not always able to turn those into round wins. 98 seconds left. There's really not a lot of time. Still need to clear over towards Stock Hallway 2, which finally a bit of pressure. Impact from IDFC. Greedy bit works. Denies that from being opened up, so he can continue to hold his position. But out of impacts, and more X-Kairos from Velux will eventually win that little mini battle, and IDFC falls back to top main.
Yeah, not being held from Kanto Repel. Instead, more of a focus here over towards this top square stack from Direwolves. In a moment, they'll be able to drone the shields clear, and they can start taking ground through Stock. They just have to be mindful of the Janitor cross, which is being held. Souffle actually still is on lobby Repel. Focus now in towards Banana in that front desk position. So they have good angles. They have good pressure at the moment, Direwolves. It's just about converging at the right moment together. Rotations will now come through over towards top square. 40 seconds. First of 2 logic bombs deployed. Pika also has 2 Adrenal Surges. And that's a good pick from Seal. Repel game on this top floor can make or break an attack. So far, it's looking good for Direwolves, but only 20 seconds to go.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one concern. And Sapper with a bit of flank bot square, able to maybe catch one here on the mezzanine. Souffle able to stay alive, but Sapper not getting a kill there. Really doesn't help out for Gelida. Good night yourself from DCH, but he just kind of slow walks out of Janitor. 1 versus 3 now. Sapper not really in the best of positions to deny this play, or maybe he could be if he gets a bit lucky. Lucky he will need to be. Souffle gets off!
Operators, you have run out of time.
Well, that's just unfortunate. Could have stuck that. Gets off it himself. Gelida win at 7-3. In a situation like that, guys, I can understand the pressure coming from down below. In the microsecond as it's happening, you think, oh, I'm going to die if I stay here. But there's no time. You're going to lose the round if you get off and move. At that point, you are just playing a situation out where if he kills you, unlucky. But he didn't kill you. You just got off and walked away.
Yeah, no, I mean, not the best of ways to finish things. Daiwa's plant should have just been on that desk to begin with and wouldn't have been an issue or less of an issue. Either way, though, Gelida, good work from them. Building that round streak, they don't let technical pause get to them either. That streak, will it continue into Chalet?
Yeah, 6 rounds in a row for Gelida there to close out Bank from a 3-1 deficit. Diebels then halted at that point and could not find a round from that point onwards. Gelida, too good. They take the opening map of this quarterfinal, 1 map away from booking a date into the semifinal with Bleed. Diebels will need a response after the break.
I'm pulling up the Wikipedia for this one. I'm going to go with Speakeasy R6 as the primary entry player for my super team. And then we're going to go and we're going to get Reaps96 from Bleed entry. We'll have 2 superstar entry players. I have to pick a coach from neither of those 2 teams. I'm going to go with the GOAT himself, Rando Sando R6 from Denmark. You know what? Because I was so impressed with the Lycolis shotgun on Oregon. We're getting Lycolis just to play mirror. Why not go for Joe Gore from Dire Wolves? He's a new player they picked up. I think he used to be on APR. Last player, Onigiri from Gelida. I think he's a sub this season, but he might not be. We'll go with Onigiri. So we've got all the frag power in the world. Rando Sando, mastermind behind the scenes. Easy team. Easy wins.
The first player came in my mind is PJ from Fury, I think. PJ. I think the second one is Harvard from Bleed. He's a very good player. And I think he plays very well and he don't afraid to take kills. I think the third one is the Souffle from my team. Well-rounded player, like he knows how to play support, he knows how to entry, he knows how to when to pick, when to not pick, and where to catch a flank. A really good player. Probably the Sepper from Gelida. I think he's a clutch master. He wins a lot of clutch against us and other teams. So that's why I think it might be the Ape from Elevate. Ape is very unpredictable. Like you don't know when App is gonna pick or flank or do anything. It's really unpredictable. Yeah, I think the best coach in the Asia League is Studio right now. I think the champion coach.
It starts with Fury. It's gonna be good day. So many games. He got an MVP and have a high KD in each map. That's why I chose him. So the second player is gonna be the star from Bleed. Pick him so he can disturb the enemy mind during the game because he type a lot in the game. And the third one, Ape from 11. He also have a high KD in each game to maybe go back to bleed again. I'm gonna choose Mentalist. Mentalist playing this game for a long time. The fifth guys, let's say I9 from Fury, who is the coach for lead, and I think I'm gonna choose him. I mean, their play style changed a lot during the past year, so I'm gonna choose him.
Yeah, I want like maybe Mentalist and IGL and Reeves. And then Good J, playing duo with Reeves maybe. Yeah. Okay, we have 3 now. Okay, so we need 2 more players. Let's just add some star player. I think let's just add Onigiri as the 4th guy, and who should I pick? Oh, maybe just I pick F from by the way. Yeah. Coach. Can I pick myself as a coach? Or maybe Pengu. He just fly to Talon as a content creator. Okay, just pick him as our coach. Thanks.
Okay. First, I will pick Cricket from Fury. I think he's the best gunner. The second is Shed from LFA. I think he's Agile from LFA, so we need a brain for us. The third one would be Jogo from Direwolf. He's a friend of mine, and I think he's a good player. He can play flash or support or infinite entry. Fourth one is, I think it's Risk96 from Esports. He's a very good gunner tier. So I have the best 2 gunner from this region. I think it's enough. And the last one, I think I will pick Kisepi from my team. He's a good player, a good lurker, can do really good from behind. Yeah. Coach, I will pick the lead Esports Julio. He's a very good coach, ex-W7M coach, so I think he will be good for this team.
Okay, let's start with Fragger. So I think from our team, Zidax is a very good Fragger. From Bleed, it's a tough one. I will pick Hoven from Bleed as Flex there. And then I will pick Ape from Elevate. So that's 3 guys. And then I need a hard support guy. Like Light Police from Fury is a very good hard support guy. So I'll pick Light Police. Chalet, I will pick one guy from Knockoff, like the South Asian team. I will pick Chitari from there. He's also a very good gunner and flex player. Coach, can I pick my coach or no? Yeah, I will pick Nasi Warriors coach Ashrit. He's a very good.
So we head into the second map of this quarterfinal. It is Gelida that has taken the opening map of Bank. Direwolves will need a response here on Chalet, their own map pick for this particular map into this best of 3. Clubhouse would be the decider if we do go there. Right now, though, Gelida with all of the momentum, quite literally, guys, winning the last 6 rounds in a row.
Yeah, we're having a bit of a chat in the green room before we came back for the second map. And honestly, it doesn't instill me with a lot of confidence here for Direwolves on their map pick. Yes, they've had success here on Chalet in stage 1 of 2024, but all of that success has been against subpar teams. And Gelida, when they have performed well against the subpar teams here on Chalet, it's been better than Direwolves. So it doesn't paint the brightest of pictures here. Maybe Direwolves have been lulled into a false sense of security. Perhaps also they're trying to lull, or they think they're lulling their opponents into a false sense of security because they've continued to work on the map. Hard to know. We'll only get that answer at the conclusion of this map. But Direwolves have to get off to a good start. Unfortunately for them, they're on attack. That is mitigated a little bit by the fact that we're here on Chalet. But we'll see if they can start that bounce back. In terms of bans, nothing standing out has been too egregious. We do see the double down on the Twitch. We saw that over on Bank. And so if we're going to see mirror gameplay throughout this particular map, you think about like backstore for a bar defense or mirrors down below on basement. That could make them a little bit more challenging to clear. Every other ban, though, is very popular at the moment.
Attackers have discovered the location of a bomb.
There was a stat that actually Dev kind of pointed out in the talent chat as well, that Gelida have been the best team this stage of Asia League when it comes to defense. They start on the defense here of Chalet, so I'm curious if that can get carried over, even to a map at which you can certainly get some pretty good attacking rounds. 71% defensive win rate for Gelida. It's certainly been their strength. It's been a hallmark of theirs. They are, though, 5th when it comes to attacking win rate.
Well, I mean, Direwolves have a 60% entry. They have the best entry stat in the league. But that's also when Jogor's playing well. I would hedge my bets. So we need to see Joe back in this game. He was, unfortunately, not up to the standard that he has set on Bank. And I don't want to be super harsh on just one player. That's not fair because it is a team effort, always in Siege. But it did prove costly. Pika falls first this time around, though. Pretty ill-advised push in through dirt. Or mudroom, rather. Probably had a bit too much confidence for that push. Not entirely sure what happened there. But not traded again. And that position, not pressured. So it's individual players again to kick things off here for Direwolves round 1 as they look to break this win streak of Gelida.
Into Piano, but position given away. Sapper getting shot from behind. And still pushing through Seal. Trying to just take his position away. Nitrocell could be good here. Just delayed a little too long. He did explode it as quick as he could. Seal was able to run past into Solar. Took only a very small margin of damage. 90 seconds left in this round already. Rounds go quick when you're unable to really be successful. Roam clear hasn't been great for Direwolves. Souffle finds a much needed kill there on to Mark. The Tubrel losing his life. Over towards Dining. IDFC actually still inside the kitchen and a couple of players. He could be in a position here where he could easily get pinched. Player entry into Trophy. Down onto Felix. Couldn't quite get the elimination though. Nice quick response from Souffle. They'll get Felix back up, and with that, Direwolves have got the player advantage now.
Yeah, a better example there where they're working together to pinch and pressure a particular position. Will the flank, though, come into play? Pika fell first. Keep in mind, he was the hard flank watch of the Nomad. And so Mr. Punch now has been allowed all the way to mezzanine. And Pika's not on a drone. So they have absolutely no idea that he is here.
Not a lot of time left as well, so they're going to have to pick up that pace. Breach opened up through Trench. One still in towards Blue, holding strong with DCH. Can't really do a whole lot, but stay in that position. Certainly cannot allow them to get crossed in towards site. They have to just kind of hope that Mr. Punch is going to be great on the flank here. So far, hasn't been able to spot anyone, but there are a couple of players towards Dining. Souffle lurking. Zappa got one. DCH won his battle towards Blue. Running around towards Trench. Joe Gort looks lost. Losing his life for virtually nothing. Didn't even have his gun up and ready. Souffle by himself. No time and no real determination to do anything in this round. Stays alive, but Gelida win the round. It'll be their 7th in a row across the 2 maps, and a perfect start here on Chalet.
Yeah, just playing around that smoke really, really well in towards site. I'm assuming the theory for Direwolves there was trying to use that smoke to cut off the angle most prominently from Blue, but also the swing from the connecting rotate as well. Unfortunately, though, smokes go both ways, or you can't see through it on both sides, and that then gave the space for him to push up. And if you're going to push straight through the smoke without information or utility or a layer of utility, it's not a favored fight to take. Was good work here from Direwolves in pinching out that position up above, but then it fell apart with that west main push. And I don't think much would have changed if they had gone 5 place or main breach. As we mentioned, that roam around was not spotted by the attack into that 5 place and mezzanine position from Gelida. And so that round streak will continue.
Yeah, what's it going to take for Direwolves now to stop that streak from continuing?
Setting needles.
5 seconds left.
Just have to wonder what the mental aspect for this team is currently like. Lose the first map after a decent start. Start the second map. Round lost, not really in a way that you would like after getting even a player advantage. Unable to execute on site. A star player, superstar player, the star player of the league is just struggling so much as well. I know we're kind of probably harping on Joe Gore, but when you are the top-rated player in the league, there are expectations. I'm sorry. That is the harsh reality for when you've been playing so well this stage, and then suddenly, quarterfinal playoff comes around, and the do or die, you lose this, you cannot go to the major. There are no second chances. Must win 3 best of 3s in a row, and right now, staring down the barrel already. Kitchen and dining, top site extension for Gelida. INEFC holding towards Piano. Sitting actually at the default half wall right now is Mr. Punch. Does have a Nitrocell. 1 deployable shield in play as well for Gelida. Got to see a DCH. Frostmat still in the back pocket. I hope DCH does get that out at some point. That's a drone. But INEFC does not allow to get very far. Swing towards Ego, and Seal gets an opening kill. He's been great in that department, and Joe Gore gets involved. There you go, big kill. The adrenal surge helps as well. Seal does lose his life. DCH still in a really good position, but he was low on health. And here comes Joe Gore. Starting to activate maybe here on Chalet. Swing into the bathroom, unsuccessful. Peek with the LMG. And suddenly Direwolves now are on the verge of breaking the streak and finally have been able to do so. After 7 rounds in a row, going the way of Gelida, Direwolves finally have got a round win.
Yeah, they can breathe a sigh of relief. Good work there on the map clear. And a pretty classic example in Modern Siege where as the attack, you get the opening pick, you're working together as a compact unit, you can snowball rounds quite quickly. Gelida, in response, quickly themselves had to play aggressive positions, try and make plays, and they were denied really, really nicely there by Direwolves. As you mentioned, takes the sting out of that momentum that Gelida had been building for quite some time. So an important round there for Direwolves just to settle themselves and set themselves up for a positive map. Over to bar then, round 3. As mentioned, the mirror is going to be a key operator on this site. The Twitch band out makes it quite difficult to counter the backstore position. We may see the attack look to counter it with the Mav played down below through Snowmobile, although I don't know if we'll see it on the first attempt. Look back at the previous round, and strong mechanics. Every single fight was favorable. Every single fight converted. So I was not really putting a foot wrong there in the previous round. And we'll see if they can transition that into round 3. And again, the mirrors in play, critical that these are dealt with.
Yeah, maybe this is just a team, though, that is entirely reliant on Joe Gore being able to enter, get kills, frag out. I mean, not really entirely crazy to think that your top-rated player is important to the team, but it certainly is the case for Direwolves. Round that was absolutely required. We go to Bar Games. Pika towards Trophy, went aggressive early. No adrenal searches. With that kill from Mark, a good control towards the solar side too on the pretty heavy extension. Considering it is Bar Games, you don't typically see defenders roving towards Trophy. So I just wonder in that moment of Pika, just missed drones, doesn't really pay too much mind, goes for a swift entry. Easy kill then for Mark. Mezzanine hold with the mirror window. As you said, it needs to be dealt with. Got the Ash for a good reason in this round. No more breaching rounds. I'm assuming he got the mirror.
I hope so.
No,
can't tell. Well, here's the backstore play though, so no Mav, but the Ace instead. That's to pressure out backstore, make that mirror window more difficult to hold. Seal, meanwhile, is actually stuck up in a good position as well. All the way into sight. Mirror spots him. Seal needs to win the fight. Yeah, he whiffed it. Are you serious? Wow. You've got to be winning that fight. And any hope for Seal to be able to unlock the objective, bring the round back, now all but distinguished.
Souffle going for a main lobby push. Jogo into mud, barricaded off. Will have to give away his position. Could break one panel here and get some pressure towards Barstock, but Souffle losing his life. Fearlux looking just for an entry. Can't even walk through the soy gate at this point. He's so low on health. And Joe Gore, who's basically just sitting in mud, now outside. I mean, it goes back to the team aspect. There's 60 seconds in this round. They're not on the same page. Solo push lobby, solo push mud room. Everyone's all over the place. Whoa. Well, Sapper did shoot first, and Joe Gore, his second shots were better. 1 versus 3. Full health. By the way, Mr. Punch and Mark are very low. This is incredibly winnable. Kit also has been recovered. Very much a live round here. in which Jogor has every opportunity. Position known to the fireplace. Well, no way that he's going to be able to take down that Sawyer gate. 30 seconds, no utility.
He's on BPC as well. There's a BPC on the stairs, so they know exactly.
One
where he's
inside of
pushing.
mud. He's got to clear mud. Gets shot from above. Good double swing from the vert plus mud room. And yeah, they knew the whole way where he was located. I mean, to be fair, even besides the BPC, he had to shoot at default. He had to also break barbed wire in towards bar. And more or less, he couldn't get through that Sawyer gate anyway. Still around that, Gelida have been able to win. The Direwolves, again, when they are not playing as a team, when they don't look coordinated in terms of their plans of attack, they just fall apart. It looks like everyone's just trying to play by themselves.
Yeah, it's weird. For a team that has the highest entry percentage in the league,
Defenders, protect your bombs from
very weird in which rounds 1 and 3 played out. Both times Pika, maybe overconfident in pushing a position with a bit of information, has died. And oddly enough, almost at the exact same moment in the round. It was 225 in round 1, and then 224 round 3. He dies, puts pressure on others to make plays, and still positionally, phenomenal play there. He was able to sneak all the way into sight. Missed critical shots though. Rest of the team is under pressure. Clearly they weren't set up then to play off of that and try to trade and flood sight. You still had the mirror into backstore as well, which was trying to still be dealt with at that point. So the cohesion from Dai was brought back into question again after a solid round 2. Feels like we're back to square one a little bit for them. And it's their map pick. That's why Gelida get the plaudits. They're the ones playing upset currently.
5 rounds away for Gelida to booking their place in the semi-final against Bleed. Still a lot to play out here. But right now, without a doubt, looking like the better team. No over-reliance on individuals, or requiring individuals to unlock rounds. Admittedly on the defense to begin, but even back on bank, it certainly was the case. A lot of work to do for Direwolves still. So far, only the one attacking round here on Chalet. A map that we've seen the most in this league. And it is not exactly defender-sided, guys. 52% Master and Office, 59% on Bar Games. Kitchen Dining is actually 48% from 21 rounds. Snow Wine is actually statistically the best defensive side at 68%. Lowest amount of rounds played. And again, we've got a pretty good sample here. 9 plays now into our 10th play of this map. It is by far and away the most played map in Asia League. So the stats very much are saying it's not exactly ultra defender sided. The Gelida already 2 rounds up on the defense. One more round could be enough for them going then into the second half. And we've still got a few rounds to play in this one. 90 seconds, slow push again from Direwolves.
Yeah, Gelida happy to play quite passive here. Been keeping an eye on Sapper. Bot trophy, not looking to reclaim up above. They're happy to forfeit the mirror window dining. So they've given quite a bit of space to Direwolves, although time has quickly become a factor already in the round. So 60 seconds on the clock. Jogor still has 2 boogie auto breaches. He can deploy those through Fireplace. Wall will be stalled here by Mark. So good work with the 2 morale. If they had impacts, they could probably actually come along and impact that just maybe, but they don't, so it's irrelevant. So the canister making it difficult now to drain in towards sight as well. So the stall out util here from the defense, really quite strong. And on the topic of defense, we can see that retake now, right of screen, zap up, in through piano, souffle to greet him. Maybe, depending on whether or not they want to push down yet, but 30 seconds.
Yeah, what year is this?
Eventually needs to push through, yeah.
Mr. Punch gets a freebie, walks off towards blue, no trade. Souffle holds the angle. Well, we hear the shots go out, and Zappa gets the freebie onto Seal. Had no idea he was getting pushed. Double stack towards that Fireplace stairs. Souffle loses that battle too after holding it for so long. Well, surprise, surprise, a very slow-paced attack from Direwolves is going to come undone at the end of this round. The late round execution is just not going to work when there is 5 players on site for Gelida. Stalwart defense. 3-1 lead here on Chalet. Direwolves looking glum. Starting to run out of ideas as to how to break down the Gelida defense.
And again, it's probably one of those rounds where, unfortunately, it's a bit of an L in the column of Direwolves. The roam wasn't being super heavily contested. We saw the players from Gelida very deep in towards trophy, just not having to do a whole lot. Divers are still scrambling for office control. Eventually then, late into the round, they identified that they had to start pressuring site itself. Don't know exactly where the air jabs were deployed, but it wasn't enough to deter the retake there from defense up top floor. We saw that. Net a kill for Sapper. Mirror window, con wall site, not dealt with. Just some big fundamental holes left in the attack there for Direwolves, and Gelida looking comfortable defensively. I think tactical timeout is a good call here. An opportunity to reset. And given the even nature of this map and the fact that it's their pick, Direwolves know that the next 2 rounds of this half could very much determine whether or not we go to the third.
Incredible performance right now from Chalet. I mean, I had my concerns coming into today after the performance against Knock Knock. I mean, admittedly, I can't recall, apologies as to who we had on the interview yesterday, but I do remember a question being posed, how much of it was Knock Knock, how much of it was Gelida, and they were high praise for what Knock Knock had brought into that game, a do or die game in that playoff deciding match, whether or not they were going to make playoffs, which they did because of it. And they didn't win it, but by getting to OT, that was enough, and we'll see Knock Knock take on Elevate in the series to come after this in the other quarterfinals. So, you know, I think sometimes you can just put it down to the opponent, just clearly having a really good game. They still ended up winning Gelida. Maybe it took a little bit from that, maybe a bit of a wake-up call. And yeah, I mean, these two teams, of course, played only a week ago, and Gelida did win that match. They were competitive against Bleed, 4-7, not the end of the world. So, 4 rounds away. Direwolves off the back of this tactical timeout. I'm going to say it feels like must-win round. If this gets to 4-1, it is a long, long way back into this game.
I'm scared here for Pika. Again, playing the flank watch. He's lost 3 entry duels in this match. So, certainly a play to watch here. Again, committing to the lurk. I hope for his sake he's getting fed some good information this time that he can rely and make a play off of, and then the rest of the team is close by to follow up. Post up now top library. IDFC Piano will be the closest alongside, although forced to peel back. Top office will now be opened up. IDFC just to hold the line for a little while longer. Gelida aren't going to contest up above all too much. Naturally, as the case, you'll fall back to Solar. And then when the plant goes down and the rest of the attack is weakened, you can look to maybe aggress forward. Maybe IDFC has identified that the double window repel, though, isn't in play. If it isn't, offers a playmaking opportunity. Now, though, on an island. Bathroom window held. This should be a free kill for Direwolves.
You say should, but I feel like at this point nothing is a should. Main breach opening up over towards dining. So at least getting some pressure towards site as well. Still trying to clear out IDFC.
Oh, they've just ignored him.
Kind of just has to sit here. Oh, the drone, the timing, and he gets away. No, he goes back. I thought he's going to maybe make his way through Solar. Logic bomb being used. I mean, they're taking some time here, but yeah, the double pinch has arrived. Jogor in a good position towards that half wall. IDFC may be expecting the push to come in from bedroom. Meanwhile, elsewhere, Sapper gets an opening kill onto Pika. They still haven't dealt with IDFC. Jogor's still sitting at the half wall. Now, mind you, it's still a good position to hold because he does need the vert. Looking for that plant. Yellow ping, headshot, IDFC! What a shot, and Jogor's sat down permanently in this round. Nitrocell gets shot out, but the vert is there for Gelida. You can't now just hit directly. No longer into dining. 5-on-1, and this tactical timeout has done nothing for Direwolves. Seal by himself. The Sharks are surrounding his location, and they bite. Gelida make it a 4-1 lead. 3 more rounds required to send them to the semifinals and send Direwolves out of Asia League.
Yeah, big statement made by Gelida in that previous round. They clearly look more composed and confident at the moment. And the biggest example of that is that top floor clear. Direwolves open office wall. They have a easy pinch established. They know exactly where a player is. Yet they completely fell off it. Jogor then eventually repositioned. And then the pinch never came through. They had the utility, the means, the info to deal with that. It would have been an entry battle that they should have won. Yes, it may have been traded. But I think they just lacked the confidence to execute on that information. Instead, then focused on hard breach. And meanwhile, Pika died again on entry, 4th time in the match. And then they don't have the systems in place to bring a round back because, again, not traded. So there's big holes at the moment for Direwolves. Unfortunately for them, the tactical timeout has not been able to plug them. Gelida now poised for a 5-1 half. Look back at that position from IDFC. Plaudits go to him. Very cool, calm, and collected in that position. Did not give away his life for free. Forced Direwolves to work for it. Eventually then rewarded on the swing.
Well, a massive round now for Direwolves. I mean, the last round was massive. The rounds before that were massive. It's been incredibly frustrating for them, but the reality of the situation, guys, is it's out of the 11 rounds last played in a row, 10-1. 10-1 in the last 11 rounds played overall between Bank and Chalet. That statistic alone tells the full story here. The utter dominance from Gelida. Direwolves' inability to turn the tide. And at this point, it's, well, a team effort for Direwolves. It's not just about Joker. They're all struggling. Good entry for Pika, but the trade did come through. Claymore onto Mr. Punch. I guess he got super aggressive, and this is the kind of round that Direwolves need to capitalize upon. Red ping information. Right leg sticks out, and IDFC just gets tanked up down to half health. This is the best position that we've seen really Direwolves since the round that they won, and Souffle finds a second in this round. 2-4 now. And should be able to take the final round of this opening half. A much needed one. Another run out. 2 in the round, and both have failed, and Souffle ends up with a quad. A strange round to finish off the half, but a glimpse of hope, maybe. That Direwolves are still in this series, still in this map. They find their second attack. Now they go into the defense. 2-4 scoreline. Still just 3 rounds away for Gelida. But that was certainly a round that Direwolves absolutely required.
I feel like Pika is the main character in this match at the moment. Finally wins an entry, and boom. Round converted, snowballed quickly. The 2 rounds in which Direwolves have won have arguably been 2 of the better in the match, but they just haven't been able to consistently produce those results where they get the entry and then they snowball it, which is unusual considering that their entry stat has been the best in the league so far heading into the night. So they're having issues in that department still, but it does mean that there is a win condition for this map for them to latch onto, which is defensively, make sure you're winning that entry duel. And then you can compound that elsewhere, provided it's not traded immediately. So if that's the case, top floor we go. First round of the second half. Gelida, I'm sure, are pretty content with how things have played out thus far. And we'll see how they go about breaking down this site.
I certainly think that it's capable for Direwolves to do well enough on this defense. We saw a little bit of it back on Bank in the opening map. They've got the capabilities. They get a much needed round win as well to just maybe offset some of this momentum that has really built up though for Gelida. I mentioned before, out of the last 11 rounds played, 10-1. Well, now it's 10-2. It's still quite a damning statistic, but at least starting to get a couple of rounds flowing here on Chalet. And on the defense, you could maybe just take a little bit of that pressure off. You don't have to force as much. Leader, though, should be pretty confident and comfortable. Map advantage, couple of rounds in the back pocket. Like Mr. Punch is just going to go for the solo entry in through basement. One watching bot library stairs in Souffle on the Valkyrie. 7-3 has been really significant for Direwolves. Of course, in that last round, picking up 4 kills. Couple of runouts from Gelida that did not bode well for them. And the first of 2 logic bombs to be utilized here by Mr. Punch.
Yeah, layering the logic bomb with the Hive launcher for solo entry. That's well played by Gelida. But Seal will dismiss Sapper. Can DCH land swift trade? That's the question mark. At least 5 on back. Get it to the 4v4. They have an opportunity to pinch dining. Although Mr. Punch is not going to go up West Main. Instead, Library Stairs. Maybe playing the long game. Another logic bomb to come through. He'll hear one top library.
Oh, saying where's the response in my head, and came a little bit late and delayed. DCH can't find that kill as well. And just a couple of little moments now going the way of Direwolves. Adrenal Surge was used by DCH, who holds this angle, the yellow ping, this peek and the swing, and Fearlux wins it. Well, those are the kind of fights that have been going the way of Gelida. But just here on Chalet now, Direwolves starting to find the ignition and get things going. A third round found. And the gap has certainly closed from 4-1 to 4-3. And Gelida just reminded momentarily that this Direwolves roster will not go down without a fight.
Yeah, I mean, that's 8 entry conversions in a row. Or 7 entry conversions in a row, rather. So it continues to be a very important stat in this matchup. That Versa duel is so impactful at the moment. Both teams showing the ability to then snowball that advantage. Funnily enough, none of those entries are being traded either. So it goes to show just how separated the attacks are at the moment at times. A couple of those fights, unfortunately for Gelida, not really going their way, and you could make the argument that the one bot trophy at least was favorable there for TCH. Does not win it out. And Direwolves is now beginning to exude a little bit more confidence and conviction in this game. I am very surprised that Valkyrie camera is disconnected. Probably just not in the correct position. Either way though, Mirror now in play, Kaid as well, so util is going to be critical here. And we see a full switch up here from Gelida in response. Thatcher is going to be critical, double hard breach as well, and the Ash to directly counter the Mirror.
4 Nitro cells brought into the round as well for Direwolves, so certainly a lots of firepower. And starting to build bits of their own momentum now here on Chalet. It is their map pick after all. The expectation certainly was for Direwolves to do well here, and after a slow start, I've certainly picked up the pace, and there's every world in which this just ends up being a super defender-sided Chalet. 4 rounds on the defense from Gelida, and now for Direwolves, they've begun their half with the defensive round win as well. Big stack over towards main breach for the Thatcher Thermite combo. Okay, Souffle's not done. 4 kills in the previous round and an open kill towards Mez, and IDFC's just done. That's a huge kill as well onto the ramp. So no real pressure in terms of that soft breach on the floorboards over towards main lobby. Put pressure onto site. 1 and 6 for IDFC. A struggle. Despite that amazing kill onto Joker a couple of rounds ago, that's the only kill that he's found.
Yeah, minute 30 then remaining on the clock here. And another good position for Direwolves to play off of. It's going to be difficult for Gelida to force themselves into the objective. Main garage rotate with Claymores to cover the flank. Range hard breach critical here, but the second half of that Salma denied by Pika on the west main stairs. He'll be able to post up in this position with the DMR. Shot a peek for some information. Jogor as well coming for a pinch. Although those Claymores may make it a little bit more challenging. Salma's to come through. Sound cover now in play. Drone goes down. Means that Ace is able to get that pick. But as mentioned, Jogor on the flank, able to trade 2v4.
Wow. Quite concerning right now for Gelida. Their attacks have looked a little bit poor. Direwolves' defense is very strong right now, and it's getting them back into this game of Chalet and into this series. Sapper by himself now outside main breach on the solo position. Nitrocell thrown on the wrong side, but it doesn't really matter at this point. There's no real time. So much to do for Sapper, and eventually just shot out through the window from Souffle, who's on a bit of a heater now on Chalet. Looking up the storm. 4-4 scoreline and 3 rounds won in a row for Direwolves. Starting to just find that form and momentum that we know they are capable of. And Gelida still no tactical timeout, still not wanting to talk things over. Kitchen and Dining, the next site coming up. I tell you what, every single world in which Direwolves can really just go on, take this map, and who knows then on Clubhouse. Gelida, this close, but now maybe this far.
Bomb located by attackers.
Yeah, good work again. Direwolves entry, they're picking it up couple of multi-kills in the previous couple of rounds. Souffle 4k, Felix 3k. Having those star performers begin to step up. Good drive by in blue, but at this point of the round, it was really just a formality for Direwolves and ensuring that they don't throw away that advantage that they had chipped away at. They're looking good here to bounce back on map 2. Storyline changing and evolving quite quickly here on this particular map. Onus now on Gelida to respond. Dining we go. And it's going to rely on this clear being pretty clean and efficient here from Gelida. Pika looking to get very aggressive over towards Ego Bulk. Default camera not dealt with. And so now they have a full read that it will be library across.
Just controlling the game a lot better now, Direwolves. It's not even just an aspect of the rounds being sort of back and forth and opening kills for either team. It's total dominance. Not really allowing Gelida to kind of get their game plan going, not really being able to get inside of the building with comfort, with ease. So to push in towards games, for instance, this time around from Mark. Drone towards library stairs can allow him to push forward. There was a player top library that has pushed off from that position. Double stack into bathroom. Frost map placed by Souffle. Anticipating pressure on the library and balcony side. Outside of piano and bathroom. One logic bomb remaining for Sapper. Slowly but surely clearing across. It is kitchen and dining, but you want that control. What's master in office? An IDFC off the back of that. Gone 6. Air jabs go out. Maybe anticipating some close play. But no, piano clear. If not mine can get shot out. And the Zoto canisters now from Pika to delay the bridge up above in towards office.
Yeah, it's going to ultimately mean there's about a minute for the final push. Exothermic down below going to be important in ensuring the wall gets opened up. Without the vert contested though, it means it is vulnerable. DCH has played against the wall despite top floor not even being opened yet. Big floor. Exploited well by Pika, who's really stood up in this match after a slow start. Now finding his feet. So errors now starting to creep in for Gelida, and Direwolves are capitalizing.
Yeah, and I'm starting to think here for Gelida that they just haven't quite got it in them to finish this match off. We could be heading to Clubhouse if they can't turn things around. The form is a little worrying. A tactical timeout. I'm concerned as to why they haven't called it yet. They might have to after this round if they're unable to bring it back. Not a lot of time. They haven't really cleared above, so they're just going to get a little bit greedy, a little bit desperate, and send it straight towards site. But the run through isn't successful. Good shot from Felix. They do have one still over towards the mezzanine, but all of the shots landing on one side, the Direwolf side. A 4-1. Shaw Sapper does get one kill. Finally clears the tuber up above in Pika, but too little, too late. And damn it to hell, Direwolves are looking really good right now. Where was this? Back on Bank at the start of this game? The form has completely flipped. I mean, to their credit, guys, they haven't mentally checked out of this series at any point. They kept themselves locked in and focused, expecting it to turn, and it has. Timeout, Gelida.
Yeah, good work from Pika there, holding up above half wall, had that line of sight down below. DCH was too far ahead of that particular checklist. There has to be pressure above to stop the vert from denying you hard breach on that wall. Simply to advance in that position. Couldn't contest up above, unfavorable angle, loses it. And without that wall open, makes that push a whole lot harder for Gelida. A small mistake, but one that was punished well by the vert up above. Looking back at the replay package, you can see everyone then forced to flood into positions left unclear. Every single fight going the way of Direwolves. So 5-4 scoreline. Looking good here. I do wonder if this attack from Gelida is going to have an impact.
All rounds, 1 in a row for Direwolves. And completely off the back of dominance from Gelida. I mentioned that statistic of 10 out of 11 rounds. And then from that point, Direwolves just suddenly been able to flick the switch. 4 rounds in a row themselves. This Chalet has ended up being ultra defender-sided. Still no attacking round 1 from Gelida at all in this half. Heading into the 10th round now. Quite pivotal. Direwolves close to maybe sending us to a 3rd map. Still some work to do, but a lot more now for Gelida. At one point, it looked pretty comfortable. I'm not going to lie, at 4-1, with already one map in the back pocket, I thought Gelida had this. But they have just come to a grounding halt. No one is able to get anything going. They're losing all of the opening engagements. In fact, 4 in a row. 4 direwolves. So, for rounds 1, 4 opening kills in a row, it's been a total flip in terms of dominance. So, I mean, how can Gelida change this around? They bring a blitz. They bring Ying. They maybe might pick up the pace a little bit. Go for broke.
Yeah, probably can't hurt at this point in time. We cast our minds back to Bank. And it was that strategy that caught Divers off guard in the opening portion of that map. Probably going to be relying on how much information they can gather here. And how many they spot off-site. If it is just backstore, I think they might be able to exploit that. It's going to take a mad dash, though, here from the Blitz. Let's see if it works.
Yeah, I think that is the goal, though. Can he get in towards Barstock? But Felix has got a little bit of a gap in the smoke. IDFC does send it in towards Bart. The mirror does get completely overwhelmed. 1-for-1, and Felix to clean up from behind. No one's watching from behind. Or at least if they were, they weren't at that moment, and allows entry into Bar. The Blitz is shot in the back. 3-on-4, and Direwolf's now in a great position once again. The timeout not working. The flash, sorry, the smoke from Mr. Punch. Just a surprise factor, and allows the drop down into the hatch and gets the kill. 3-on-3, slips into Barstock. 1 in towards Bar. The yellow ping, information, onto the Oryx. Oh, Felix. But Jogor shows up. And Direwolves have shown up, and a shot again. They cannot clear the Oryx. Sapper stuck outside. No Candelas. No hope for Gelida. And on the other side of this round, surely it'll be match point for Direwolves. Sapper with contact towards Mud. Through one drone up. No smokes, no Candelas. He'll have to dry peek everything. With 60 seconds, he could go for a rotate, but maybe hoping and anticipating a swing. And it came through from Souffle. Now, 2 players remain. And all he has to do is create 2 1-versus-1s. Jogor holds above top library for Felix now into Barstock. Again, still noise made. But you cannot keep wasting time here on this ladder. Entry into the building is paramount right now for Sapper.
I mean, it's the best rotation. You cannot go through double window. Needs to isolate the ones, and he'll go up above to try and find something, but the default camera will stall that out. 20 seconds.
He doesn't know where the second player is. He doesn't know where Felix is. I actually don't even know if he knows where Jogor is. Not a lot of time. He's taking quite a bit of time. Goes for a bit of a peek over towards the hatch and a bit of an entry into Bar, hoping that maybe someone will make some kind of move. There's one. The kit, though, unfortunately, as soon as he sticks that, he needs to find some kind of position where Jogor's not going to be able to get a free quick kill. Drops down a little slowly, but there's the freebie. Match point, map point, Direwolves. What a turnaround. The attacks from Gelida have not been succinct enough. And even with that tactical timeout, they falter. And still no attacking round 1 by Gelida. Direwolves with a massive turnaround in this series, in this quarterfinal. When their spot in this league was on the line, they have responded.
Yeah, correct read there from Direwolves into the Oryx. Good response. Gelida trying to go for that very aggressive push through Fireplace. Didn't account quickly enough that there was going to be that swift flank from Oryx. They promptly got site control, but didn't hold it for very long. So reminiscent to the last map, Direwolves now leading this, have built up a big round streak. Here was site control, but only very, very promptly. A couple of seconds it was held, and in a couple more seconds it was lost. Felix is winning every single engagement, bar this one where Sapper, not much time on the clock. Credit goes to himself and Jogor playing out that particular 2-versus-1 very, very well. They had each other's back at every single moment there. Let the clock bleed out. That's exactly how you play out that situation, so good work from them. Gelida now. 2 rounds in a row. They need that to push the game to overtime. And with the streak that Tiles have been able to build up here, that looks increasingly unlikely.
Yeah, it looks quite difficult to imagine it happening now. I mean, my thoughts on this has changed. And when you go to a Sens, I'm not going to lie. Every time I see Sens get pulled out in these kind of desperate rounds where match point or you feel like the game's not quite going your way, it just never really works out. It's a very counterable operator. Bufflet aggressive towards games. I guess the idea with the Sens could be a little bit better entry towards Trophy. You can throw it through the drone hole, block vision off from dining. But we are going up above this round. I'm not too sure exactly what the game plan is with those ROUs. And it's not as if they've doubled down when they're bringing Glaz. Gordon on the board as well as Pika holds Trophy stairs. They need to get some pressure on this Trophy stairs position from Trophy. This is where you can use the Sens. ROU down below through the drone hole. Block sight lines and swing and push Trophy stairs and pinch Pika. Clear it out.
Yeah, I mean, it is the Warden, though, to be fair, so complicates things a little bit. Doesn't matter, though, as Souffle elsewhere finds the first in this round. Nitro deployed, in effect, as Pika goes for the jump up on the boost. Hasn't been able to cover the sound on that cross. I don't think he has. It looks like Gelida have a read. Need to go out. Will dislodge. And they don't get the kill.
Wow. Well, that's just going to delay even more time now. They're in a bit of a world of hurt. They're out of frags. I mean, they got some flashes onto Sapper. Still one logic bomb remaining. Here is that ROU that I was talking about, by the way, through the drone hole into Trophy. Certainly can help facilitate a bit of a push to down below to eventually swing Trophy stairs. Philox now in a good position, though, to counter that. This round is increasingly more difficult for Gelida.
Yeah, I think they need to get pressure main wall here. So DCH rotates over towards Ego Belk. He'll begin to open up exterior office. It's a double repel. Both players in.
Well, and both players dead. You didn't clear Solar. I understand you messed up with the frag grenade, but you needed to clear that position for a reason, and you can't then just double repel in for a reason. We will be heading to Clubhouse in this first quarter final. DCH, double kill, still needs 3 more, and the 8th is required. But 15 seconds means this becomes impossible. Even with the kit, no chance, no time. The main reasoning for no chance. Default shot out, West Main. It's still sight above for what it's worth. He can't get there in time. We, though, can get to Clubhouse. A third map is required to separate these two teams. Direwolves with a significant response here on Chalet. Both teams are able to take their respective map picks in the veto process. Clubhouse is required.
Yeah, phenomenal defense there from Direwolves. Did not anticipate it to be quite that dominant in the end. Ultimately, though, it is their map pick. And so it resets the series one apiece going into that third and final map. Still finding it difficult to separate the two, both teams, with big win streaks at the end of their respective maps.
It's incredible the way that there's so many similarities from what Direwolves were able to do at the end there to what Gelida did on Bank and to begin there on Chalet. Said it before at the beginning of this series for a reason, guys. These two teams, they can have some up and down moments in Siege, and I think we're seeing it not just in the week, but in the rounds, in the maps themselves. It's really difficult to envision who is going to be the winner of this quarterfinal at the end of Clubhouse. Before we do get to that map, though, we'll go to the desk and get their thoughts on how this is all progressing.
Look, it's looking a little bit better for Direwolves than we had originally anticipated, Dev. Maybe we wrote them off. Maybe did we give Gelida too much credit? Chalet was not a good look.
Yeah, and I think the credit goes out to Direwolves just for having really solid defenses on this map. And yeah, you can obviously point it at Gelida and say, look, bit risky. I'm particularly thinking about that bar attack that we saw where they tried to go for something really cheeky from lobby. Like, I love the spirit. I love it when you smoke here, smoke there, quick peek. Oh, Bravo drones in sight. We know where they are. But yeah, your points of failure in a and your margins in a round like that, like all it takes is Felox just didn't see him, you didn't know where he was, he finds a multi-kill, round's gone. And I think that was what we saw a lot of on Gelida. Like, a lot of Gelida, like, posturing up around the map, around the bomb site, and being like, oh, we just lost one player, we just lost our entire push, and now the round is done. And so a lot of those rounds snowballed for Direwolves. Honestly, credit to them. Like, it was not a hot first half for them, and it takes a lot of gusto to come back when you're down one map, and you're down 4-2 at the half, move on to their defense, they look really solid, and yeah, I credit to them. Credit where credit is due. I was the one saying Chalet was not where to go to. I said that they'd beaten 3 pretty poor teams on this map. I think they've finally beaten a good one, and they're starting to convince me that Chalet might be a good one for them.
Mandy, looking back to Bank and now on to Chalet, I mean, it's hard to kind of tell a full picture, the full story. Obviously, each team taking their respective map. Pip here. I am just absolutely wrong now. I know, that's what happens when I have too long of a break. Going into Clubhouse now, you know, what do we take from these maps? What kind of information can we kind of drag with us into Clubhouse to give some kind of context for where this map might go?
The way I see it is that I think both teams probably don't need to cut corners here. I think in the way that they're playing the game, their defenses look super robust. Like, they all look like they have a plan going for them. But I think it's made to look that way because of how frolicky the attacks are looking at the moment. I think once we see the attack come through, it just doesn't look very well thought out a lot of the time. I think that there's not like a super clear direction for what they actually want to do in the server. And it's okay to play without direction sometimes, but what it does mean is that when you are playing without direction, you need to know how to capitalize on different opportunities and different eventualities. And I think for both these teams, to me, that isn't quite working out for them. I'd like to see both these teams go back to a style of play where they have a plan and they actually stick to the plan. Because, like, honestly, I think they're overcomplicating it a little bit. I think if you go back to a simple idea, commit all 5 players to doing it and then going for it, to me, going for a solid, simple idea is probably better than all this kind of fluff that they're doing in the server right now. That is at least my opinion on it. I don't know how much truth there is to it, but I feel like it's true for both teams here.
Dev, I mean, if we're going to go to any map for that kind of play style to be forced upon you almost, Clubhouse seems to be the one where if you don't have a good idea on your attack, you're going to be all but stuffed. Are we worried here for either team on their attack? Now, I've also been told Dire will start defense, so they kind of get to back up on the back of their impressive Chalet. Are we now worried for Gelida heading to that attack after what we've just witnessed?
Just having a look, so Direwolves played Bleed on this map, and they did get 4 rounds. I'm just having a look. Yeah, they actually quite struggled on their attack. They only got 1 of their 6 attacks that they did so far. So starting defense for Direwolves, obviously that's where you want to be. Not only is it, obviously, as you said, hard to attack, particularly when you're disjointed on this map, but yeah, they're clearly better team on that defense. But 3-3 for a defense split, I think they should really be gunning for more than that, especially because we've clearly seen a lot of holes in the Gelida attack, especially in that Chalet game right there. But yeah, Clubhouse. Great map for Gelida here. Like, they've played it 3 times in the league so far. But we have seen some red flags. The most notable one would be yesterday when they almost lost to Knock Knock. So I think that, if anything, coming into this map, Veto, I thought, well, Bank, obviously Gelida just beat Direwolves on that last week. So I think that's going to be a Gelida game. Chalet, I maybe didn't give Direwolves enough credit. I thought that they had too many red flags. I thought that was going to be a Gelida map. Moving on to map 3, this is a good map for Gelida, but I think that Direwolves, like, if they come out with the level of fire that they saw on Chalet, then I wouldn't be surprised if they took this, because Gelida have had like a real wake-up call about their Clubhouse yesterday against Knock Knock, and if Direwolves watched that game and have started to figure out what went wrong for Gelida, then who knows, maybe Direwolves win this game. I did not expect that to happen, but maybe they do.
Mandy, are you changing your prediction here? Are we flip-flopping? Are we Jake Xenox Vendittying?
No, I don't think so. I think Gelida should still take it from here. I think, yeah, that last map was a little strange, but I don't think that they don't look in it, if that makes sense. Like, they were still on the server, they're still trying things, they still looked like they were trying to compete, but they just didn't look super composed. I feel like Clubhouse is a good opportunity for them to come back and do that.
Scary, because this is the final step. The team that awaits is Bleed. We're going to go to Clubhouse, but before that, a short break.
Okay, I want like maybe mentalist at IGL and Reeves, and then QJ playing duo with Reeves, maybe. Yeah. Okay, we have 3 now. Okay, so we need 2 more players. Let's just add some star player. I think let's just add Onigiri as the 4th guy, and who should I pick? Oh, maybe just I pick F from Elevate. Okay. Coach. Can I pick myself as a coach? Or maybe Pengu. He just fly to Talon as a content creator. Okay. Just pick him as our coach. Thanks.
Okay. First, I will pick Trick from Fury. I think he's the best gunner. The second is Shed from LFA. I think he's Agile from LFA, so we need a brain for us. The third one would be Jogo from Direwolf. He's a friend of mine, and I think he's a good player. He can play flash or support or infinite entry. Fourth one is, I think it's Risk96 from Esports. He's a very good gunner tier. So I have the best 2 gunner from this region. I think it's enough. And the last one, I think I will pick Kisepi from my team. He's a good player, a good lurker, can do really good from behind. Yeah. And coach, I will pick the lead Esports Julio. He's a very good coach, W7M coach. So I think he will be good for this team.
Okay, let's start with Fragger. So I think from our team, Zidax is a very good Fragger. From Bleed, it's a tough one. I will pick Hoven from Bleed as Flex there. And then I will pick Ape from Elevate. So that's 3 guys. And then I need a hard support guy. Like Light Colis from Fury is a very good hard support guy. So I'll pick Light Colis. Chalet, I will pick one guy from Noktok, like the South Asian team. I will pick Chitari from there. He's also a very good gunner and flex player. Coach, can I pick my coach or no? Yeah, I will pick Nasi Warriors coach Ashrit. He's a very good coach. Yeah, he does lots of stuff. So we don't listen properly. But yeah, he's very good.
Okay, I'm gonna start with the coach. I'll pick Julio from Bleed. That guy is a major champion, international champion. If I want to make a dream team, I think he's the guy, go-to guy, and he can even sub in and need it. For the first player, as an entry fragger, I'll pick Reeves96. He's the most KD player or impact player in all of Asia. The second entry I would pick should be Crit J from Fury. He's also a good entry fragger. He's like close to Reeves in terms of kills, death ratio. I think for flex, I'd go for Speakeasy from Elevate. And I'll make him the captain of this team. Just because of his experience and his playmaking abilities. Fourth player can be DCH from Gelida. That guy is a great support player. For the fifth player, mainly I'd go for Hoven from Bleed. He's he can play entry, he can play flex, he can change everything, and that guy is a beast in gunfights. So that's my dream team, and I think they can smash even the best team in the world.
I think this is in Consulate.
Bank or Consul, but my opinion is go through Consulate.
I think this is bank and this should be lockers, basement.
Oh, bank. Okay. Wow.
Shit.
Okay.
Yeah, Sky.
Oh, I think it's a skyscraper. Skyscraper spawn.
Oh, this is in Chalet, I think. I remember the rock and the wood.
Oh my god.
Wow. Okay.
Who even looks at that?
Oregon bunker.
This is definitely Oregon bunker.
I remember this is Oregon in the Anka. Oregon, yeah.
Looks like Oregon again. It's the resource there.
This looks like
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, into the third map here and deciding map of the quarterfinals. Gelida, unfortunately, kind of had done to them what they did to Direwolves. The big streak and Direwolves with all the momentum, completely dominating on Chalet. 6 rounds in a row, guys. I mean, it says it all in what Direwolves were able to do, somewhat matching what Gelida did back on Bank. So it feels very much right that we're all square heading into Clubhouse. Both teams have been dominant. Both teams have looked poor. This really is as even as we could get a series heading into the deciding map.
Yeah, certainly. The onus, though, on Gelida to break that round streak that the Direwolves were able to establish back on Chalet, much like it was Direwolves' prerogative to do the same after Gelida had a red-hot finish to the first map of Bank. So parallels in that respect, third map neutral territory, and eager to jump into this one. For a bit of context, Clubhouse was the equal second most played map in Asia heading into tonight. 70% defender sided. So Direwolves need to be looking at minimum 4-2-1/2 in their favor to give that platform into attack. Both teams have generally been struggling with attack, so defensive rounds are absolutely critical to make sure that you are maximizing.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even going to bother with predictions and who we think is going to win it from here, because honestly, guys, it doesn't really matter. There's no way in which you could predict this. It's a coin flip. I think that's the best way to summarize it. Gelida are much better defensively between these two teams, but Direwolves begin on the defense. That might be maybe a large determining factor. This first half should really give us quite an indication, but I mean, in saying that, first half from Direwolves on Bank looked good. First half on Chalet for Gelida was amazing. First halves apparently haven't meant a whole lot in this series thus far. So Direwolves onto the defense to begin. They bring the castle barricade.
Attackers have discovered the location of a bomb.
And we'll look to just block over towards that kitchen side. Not too sure where that last one's going to go. Pika hasn't quite made up his mind on that just yet. Mirror employed as well. Into church with the mirror windows. And it depends if Pika wants to get super aggressive. Could block off in towards lounge. Right now just holding in lobby. Hasn't been droned.
This is a peculiar position to play, and he's droned out immediately by Sapper. Is he punished though? Nope. Able to just barricade off stage. Should be able to then make his way back towards the objective, provided he isn't cut off from the kitchen hallway, and I don't think he has been. Gelida will take space elsewhere though. How extensive really is this room? I don't think it's actually all that extensive at all, really.
I thought it was just Pika.
Yeah,
It's gone back.
They're back on site. Well, it's 4 site. Is it one up above in Logi? Or am I...
I feel like
seeing
it's
things?
like... who was it? Someone was like secret, I think.
Ah. Well, that's why you're the color.
I mean, to be fair, I mean, these are just pretty normal positions. Like, you're just taking out a couple of drones, especially secret and bot main. Nothing too crazy. The castle barricades don't do much other than just be a bit of a nuisance, and at first glance might anticipate some kind of pressure up above. So it really does kind of slow things down a little bit. But 90 seconds left. That is FC now can get to work with the skeleton key. So pretty stock standard round of Clubhouse. I honestly imagine this map itself isn't going to really stray too far from the norms. Unless these teams have cooked something crazy, they might bring it out for a round or two here or there on a particular site. I expect this to be pretty default club.
Yeah, no, I agree. If it ends up being default, it's going to continue to favor defense. I don't think we've seen enough from the attacks of either team to suggest that attack is going to be particularly fruitful, unless it's like a club-specific thing where one or the other team is comfortable.
Oh, Souffle again.
Well, I say that, and Mr. Punch has dropped blue for 2. Traded, though, eventually. Jogor gets himself into the round. 3-3 now, 40 seconds.
Well, still good power positions though off these mirror windows with Souffle and Jokor, so they haven't been cleared out. As I say that, those DCH just walks in. A couple of Candelas, and with that, a pistol into the back of the head of Souffle. 30 seconds left to seal now the solo, and well, as you were also saying, this is going to be defend decided. Gelida have been able to just storm their way into sight on basement. What an attacking round. Where did it really come from? Direwolves had great power positions. They still had the mirror window facing into bot main. They had one facing into blue. Both players were still up manning those positions. the motor pressure too strong. Gelida great from the vert, and that was enough to win the round.
Yeah. I don't feel particularly vindicated, given I was setting it the storyline that this is likely going to be a struggle for defense, and I thought at the point in time in which I mentioned it, it was looking good for defense. As you said, the mirror windows left standing, power positions largely intact. I think a big part of that was the fact that Mr. Punch, one way or another, in through secret, not sure if it was a hatch drop through the stairs or oil pit, was been facing it at the time, but he kicked things off with a 2K right about now. Eventually was traded, but then space was taken elsewhere. Yin got good value from DCH. Able to catch Souffle off guard. And the Warden never in a playmaking position to deny those Candelas.
Cam in position.
Yeah, I mean, this series just gets stranger and stranger every round that plays out. And wanting to reiterate, whatever Gelida can do, Direwolves can certainly do. At this point, I wouldn't be too hung up on Gelida getting even a couple of attacking rounds and thinking that could be enough, because I would imagine Direwolves would be more than capable. These two teams are pretty even. I think that was my assumption coming into the series, and like I want to double down on that opinion. Don't think there is really anything separating them. Who's just going to play better on the day? Who's going to make less mistakes? Who's not going to, honestly, crumble under the pressure of a quarterfinal matchup, third map, deciding map? You lose this, the chance of the major is gone, and there's a fighting towards Oil Pit. It's the Punch with the high ground. Well, it feels like maybe one of the first opening engagements that Souffle has lost since Chalet to Club. He's been so great in that department for Direwolves. A big step up has come from him, and a big reason why they were able to bring it back on Chalet was Souffle. He went 12-5, 2-0 on the entry. He loses that one after getting an entry kill in the opening round as well. Gelida now in a good position where they could find 2 attacking rounds to begin and on primary sites. Gym and bedroom. Big stack now over towards garage into CCTV being opened up as well. Quick clear down through Louds. Mr. Punch takes control towards top red, and so far, these are good signs for Gelida.
Yeah, I mean, Souffle really has been impressive tonight. Top-rated EPS through both maps thus far. Has not lost an entry duel up until that point. He won one on Bank, won 2 on Chalet. So that could be quite impactful. That utility, though, still will be left standing, and it will be up to Mr. Punch on the IQ to scan out. There's Valk cameras. Exothermic over towards Con Breach. Rotero will deal with Seal's stronghold in Con. They're forced to peel back towards the objective and now constricts these 4 remaining members of Direwolves to some pretty peculiar positions. Keeper barrier does not deploy either, and it means that Seal has to hold a precarious line down in towards Cash. Still though, unloads a bit of damage into Mark. Now needs to be mindful of the immediate swing and the pressure from the balcony. Seal could make or break the round here for Direwolves. Well, he's halfway to making it. Good for 1, and nobody on the balcony to trade.
Plenty of time still remaining for Gelida, but that's a big kill onto DCH. And with Mark low, suddenly the round is disarray. After a decent start into the second, and for Gelida, they have lost a bit of a stranglehold on this round. Honestly, for IDFC, probably has to just push up main stairs and hope he wins this battle. Barbed wire in the way. Not a lot of time remaining. And a difficult task at hand, certainly. Flash still has 2 more. Forced out the swing from Felix, and it has worked. Mark, though, who was low, loses his battle. Prone position inside a stash. Interesting play. Sapper into logistics, gets that kill. And a bit of position, too. They got, honestly, top main, and they've also got this position of the stash. They can play off of the mirror window with the kit. A winnable round now for Gelida. Despite what looked like a bad position, they've been able to salvage things. Seal is dead and down. Last player known in towards Jim Beaker. 1 versus 1 now. IDFC should know the position. He has to go for the kill. Will not be able to stick to plant. Just so stagnant there at the end with so little time remaining. He looked like he froze in the middle of bedroom.
Yeah, these rounds are just insane at the moment. They're so dynamic and difficult to read. And we have the privilege of things like overheads and outlines. So it's understandable to an extent that some of these plays are kind of happening at the moment where players are lacking a bit of information or a bit of confidence. Strange positions being held then exacerbates that a little bit. Ultimately, though, you know, the conclusion as well. I mean, I'm still trying to digest it a little bit. 2 versus 3 at this point. Prone peek punish, so that's good work. 2 versus 2, forced then to try and trade out sight, but Pika, with the balcony not being held at that point in time, understandably the stack through Logi top main. That into play the backline of the objective, holds on. And for the first time in what feels like a very rare occasion, in fact, I'm looking back at Chalet, right? There was one round, and I'm not even sure if it's could be broken on the API, I'm not entirely sure, but going off it, if it is right, one round was where an entry was not converted. And it's already happened here in round number 2 of Clubhouse, so that's an important one for Direwolves to win off the back of Soufflé dying first. And hopefully for Soufflé that's a one-off, because so far throughout this match he has been a real standout performer and probably making up for the likes of Joe having a slight off day here this evening.
I mean, if it's been anything, it's certainly not been short of entertaining from both of these two teams in this quarterfinal. I think, as expected, Joe Gore, a bit of a sound cube, hasn't been droned yet. Half a second, I anticipated him to just break down that barricade and get an attempt at a kill. Has been droned out. IDFC's going to... Oh, what a shot! Knew where he was, but still just goes for it anyway and hits the head onto Joe Gore. Billocks looking for the Shockwire juggle, and he does get it. That's one exothermic burn. One remaining for TCH. And an interesting decision with a bandit battle that no one is in lounge before the exothermic goes onto the wall.
Oh, don't let him do it
And they had a
again.
patch up.
He's going to get it again, guys.
Billocks,
Okay,
he's got to
they-
also try and get these Selmas too. I don't know if he's going to be able to get...
Oh, he got
he
both!
does! He got both! He got the left side and the right side!
In the fire! Oh, no.
What?
It doesn't get much worse than that for Gelida. I know they've got the advantage, but losing that battle could prove very costly. Wow.
They can't get the wall opened up, at least not an entry. At best, if you can, maybe one Selma to just get some vision in through to CCTV. 90 seconds, Montang has to try and make his way up the rafters position. Impact from Pika, bit of damage, and quite a decent amount of damage onto Mr. Punch. And no, the final Selma actually just used over towards Garage, and so therefore, that is going to be main breach closed for the remainder of this round. Pika gets aggressive, little love tap. Reload. And now in a good position where he can hold strong, even with this Montang in his way. Keeper barriers being shot out, but Pika's still alive.
How is he not dead?
I thought he was going to get that kill.
No, never should have won that. I mean, for so long there, he's playing exposed without keeper barrier protection. He's just not being aggressed upon properly by Gelida. Finally make it work though. And off the back of the breach failure earlier, 5v3 advantage. Arguably, this round now back in their favor, unless Darwers can cook something up.
Soufflé holding into Con. Knows there's one outside on the balcony. Felix as well. Knowing for a fact there's one bot red. Loses that battle. I mean, Gelida have just been able to win all of these swings. Soufflé to cash though. Good little pickup. Needed that. 3 onto 2 with one still quite low. Mr. Punch going for the kit. Plant. Doesn't matter. Gelida have won the round. They've won the round after getting absolutely destroyed in the minigame battle of opening up Kennel's wall. They've still gone on and just decimated Direwolves anyway. 2 attacking rounds for Gelida early here on Clubhouse. Puts them in a great position.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those rounds where if I'm Felix right now, I'm holding my tongue a little bit because he all but secured one of the biggest win conditions on that site on the Bandit by keeping the wall closed. Gelida then didn't even have dislodge util for rafters. They had no flashes, they had no flames. The keeper barriers were also, you know, protecting that player on rafters. Yet despite all of that, they made the Monty work, brute force their way through every single fight, goes their way. It has to be quite a frustrating round for Direwolves, provided they're aware of the, you know, the win conditions that they were able to deny in that round. Ultimately, though, wasn't enough.
Camera activated.
So certainly the kind of round that you shake your head up.
10 seconds left before insertion.
And it puts Gelida in a great spot.
5 seconds remaining.
There's the response down for Direwolves.
Attackers must locate and defuse a bomb.
3 Nitrosols in this round, being brought defensively. Let's have a look at this replay, and it's the opening kill. Now, for context, he did have, of course, vision in terms of the drone that did spot him, so he knew he was backing up towards rafters. Still had to hit a really good shot and still needed to get a bit fortunate. That really kind of summed up the round, I think, for Gelida, where they just naturally hit some really good shots throughout that round, and that kind of offset the fact that they could not get main breach opened up. And therefore, it did not really matter. To basement we go, Church and Arsenal for the 4th round. Once again, for Direwolves looking to find solace on Basement Club. Again, to remind the statistic for Gelida, they're the best defensive team in this region. And on a map that is the most defender-sided. Pika loses that battle, but Mark elsewhere. That's the ace that has been taken off the board. No hard breach, only the secondaries available through DCH, and I would imagine they're still some way short of opening up these hatches. So some work to be done for Gelida. And more pressure again, and it's 1-for-1 trades again with DCH himself, as I mentioned his name, who finds a kill onto Seal, and the aggression from Direwolves now no longer paying dividends. One of the secondaries being used over towards Dirt. The hatches may stay closed in this round, but there's not really many defenders remaining. Not even on site.
Well, Souffle in a potential position to flank now, but Gelida holding drones. No read though, but Souffle gives away his position immediately. Mr. Punch is on drone, literally right in front of Souffle. He could have killed him. Well, he does.
Oh, and they get a double. And suddenly, from a 3-on-2 to a 1-on-2, Zappa dropped sight. What the hell is going on? Go on, say something, guys. I'm out of words.
Yeah. Look, there's just the lack of awareness sometimes in this match has just been startling, because the reason I'm pointing this out is this is a playoffs game with two teams that have so much experience, and I'm not entirely sure what is happening tonight for these gaps to continually be opened up, and that goes to both teams. It's been across the board and relatively consistent for both teams across all 3 maps now. Just expected. You know, tighter attacks, even defense as well, because these players are so experienced and actually, you know, so good. Many of which have performed overseas, done well there as well. I don't know if it's a case of pressure or what, but yeah, it's been a funny old game. Round 5. It very much feels like a break point here for Direwolves. We've mentioned before how defender-sided this map has been in Asia. And so the onus is on Direwolves to end this half with a lead.
5 seconds left before insertion.
Their attacking win rate does just edge out Gelida by a couple of %, but it is still at 46. So all signs are pointing towards them needing a 4-2 half.
Yeah, I mean, it's just such a, again, difficult match to predict. When it looks like Gelida's got an advantage, they lose. When it looks like Direwolves have an advantage, they lose. And I'm kind of just referencing the last 2 rounds as the case in point examples. Direwolves able to, you know, win that Kennel's Wall mini game with the juggle. They had good positioning and still lost. Last round for Gelida, dealt with the roam game, 3-on-2. No awareness and lost. Observation blocker blown off by the Rotero. Red ping info. Gym bedroom in this round. Seal will fall back. I think still, regardless, the 2 attacking rounds for Gelida could be enough for all intents and purposes. So, I mean, the onus is still on Direwolves. I think they get a massive reprieve in that 4th round. Can they continue to find very important rounds here to close out this half? 5 on site, essentially. A bit of a con hold still, and logistics. Mr. Punch trying to find some information. Still 2 Nitro cells available for Direwolves. Need to make sure you keep those in the back pocket. If Gelida do find a way to slip into gym, go for a plant behind the dumbbells. Well, 90 seconds is all that remains, and Souffle still holding a very aggressive position. Could be good for 1. Can play off of that BPC. I imagine he gets droned. I would imagine he did there. It could be close.
Hard to tell.
BPC, I think, did shoot it out, but I don't know if it was timed enough. Could have spotted his feet. I think he's just going to have to play the safe and back off. Right play. Oh. What are you doing with the keeper barrier? And he's swinging. There's a reason why your teammate's pushing away from that position. Seal goes down with a keeper barrier in hand. 5-on-4. Gelida with the opening kill.
Yeah, I think, again, that's probably another instance where a player getting caught off guard is just being subjected to pressure and then not responding correctly. Equally, though, the confidence from Gelida flowing at the early stage of this round. Con control now gathered. Minute on the clock, so they've got a lot of time to rotate now over towards the likes of a Logi drop, bulk pressure. Need to deal with Felix though inside of Logi. Poses a big threat, and so Mr. Punch, big engagement next on his plate. We'll see if he wins it out. Drop to come through, and it's successful. Anyway, Mr. Punch not even needed.
Wow. Well, Pika still in a good position, top main. Great swing from Mr. Punch to hit the headshot immediately onto Pika. Jogor in a 1v2. Isolates one, knows where the other remains for DCH, who does have the kit. Can go through logistic, and Jogor should be aware of that. Repositions over towards bathroom, and I like this spot. Can certainly get some sound cues, and he moves off of it. He knows that he's just been picked back up. Where's he gone, though? The man's on the move. 6 seconds left, and Jogor does win the double in the 1-on-2. A third round found for Direwolves, and this game of Clubhouse has certainly been messy.
Yeah, good clutch there from Joe. Gifted a little bit of an opportunity. Another case of a 2v1 mistimed by the 2. So the trade then was delayed. Ultimately, the res there was probably the correct decision, albeit the positioning made it very, very difficult then in the 1 versus 1 to reclaim the round. So the plaudits go to Joe. It's been a relatively quiet night for him again. And the only reason we're saying that is he went into the night as the top-rated player in the entire damn league. Here's a look back at that entry, still caught off guard. Been a lot of those cases in this match so far. Felix certainly would be mad at that one, loses to the Logi drop. Mark then for the trade. Fortunately then pushes through with DCH still outside. Ultimately then the Thermite left in this 1 versus 1. Lack of information and time meant that he was certainly unfavored in that engagement. So good work from Joe to be able to seal it. Joe actually the bottom rated player in map 1 to kick off the night, and we started to get quite concerned for Direwolves, but clearly here on the third and final map, stepping it up.
I mean, it's so hotly contested. It's just essentially round for round, punch for punch. At this point, forget about defend decided or attack or advantages. Just got to make your moments count. And in that moment, Jogor wins a 1 versus 2. That's going to be critical. Big round win for Direwolves. And Gelida's early advantages by getting these attacking rounds starting to be offset by Direwolves. Now 1 round away from getting that proverbial must get 4 defensive rounds. Cash and CCTV, though, last time was lost, even despite the wonderful shockwire juggling from Felix. So they challenge him again. Now, mind you, all really Gelida need to do is get some lounge pressure onto the Bandit. And especially if they're looking to take Garage with the Montang, it really shouldn't be a difficult task to do.
I mean, they're eventually going to get lounge control. Mark will be sent down below to double impact from below. DCH, though, in the meanwhile, is going for the wall. Dislodge did come, and the wall opened up. So that's a big tick on the checklist for Gelida. They've proven they don't even need the wall open to win this particular site. So for Direwolves, that certainly increases the difficulty curve of the round. We did see the Monty, though, incredibly effective. And so in the face of 4 keeper barriers, Mr. Punch is going to have to try and find a way to get some rafters control.
They probably lose the round now that they actually got the breach. It's the way that this series would really play out. Early ping information on the play in towards Cash, who really does not need to peek this at all. He's edged with the kit to Flay. Well, just for a split second, thought he was maybe going to lose sight of IDFC, and just like that, the round indeed looks pretty much over. I did say that. I did say they'll get the main breach and they'll probably lose the round. Solid push up, Montang to rafters doesn't pay dividends. A solo stock push from Sapper now in a 1 versus 3 after getting that kill onto Souffle. And Gelida's attack has just been offset by a bit of counter aggression from Direwolves in that moment. 3 kills all in sync. Some really good team coordination. And Direwolves are going to get a 4th round in this half on the defense. Job done. I mean, Sapper doesn't have kit. He doesn't have a lot of time. Everything in this round pointing to a Direwolves win, and Sapper's really not making the most of this. I mean, you still got to go outside, get kit. He's still stepping on goo mines. It's like a minefield. There's one more. Shoots it out. Doesn't even go for the kit anymore. Just sends it up top red. Immediately shot out by Felix. And Wolves have got 4 rounds on the defense, though, mind you, guys. And so we don't really take too much stock into that. They're still going to have to get some very important attacking rounds, 2 minimum, to get this to OT. But from my understanding, I think Gelida actually double defense in OT. That they would want to win this out in regulation. If this ends up being super defend decided, that's going to benefit Gelida more. Church and Arsenal begin this second half. Direwolves 3 rounds away from a semi-final appearance. For Gelida, at least they go into the comfort of defense.
Yeah, I'm in some respects kind of glad we got that sort of round to end out the half, because I think in many aspects it sort of encapsulates this game so far. And the main takeaway for me being there's been so many rounds where fundamentals either land or don't land for a team, and it just doesn't seem to have that great of an impact in how the round actually ultimately concludes. Like we've had attacks work with mirror windows still standing in key positions. We've had attacks work without main breaches being opened, and then when they are opened, they're quickly dismissed. Like, it's so challenging to get a read on this game and this map at the moment with just so many variables that we don't usually see. It's consistently happening. Like, it's consistently inconsistent, which is why I think I mentioned prior that I was just a little bit disappointed in some respects as to why that's the case. I suppose if you want to flip it into a positive, it's probably because both teams are putting one another under a lot of pressure, and sure, that makes it entertaining, but it makes setting the stage for this second half very challenging, because you're right, Direwolves have reached the benchmark, but equally, if it turns out very defend decided, it could all be for nothing with Gelida double OT defense. Surely they close it out in that particular part of the match if it gets that far. Souffle meanwhile, entry duel. IDFC though, able to escape to that secret position.
Well, this is where momentum is super critical though for Direwolves. Really good close for that half, and they get the opening kill. Jogor starting to activate in this series. Quiet on the opening 2 maps. 7-5 now though on Clubhouse after a pretty decent defense. He's certainly got the opportunity to make a massive statement here in the final map on the attacking half. He is required for these entry kills. They didn't get it from him. Back on Bank, he was 2-3, so he went negative. On Chalet, he didn't get a single one. He was 0-0. So already on Club, he's been able to at least go positive with that here on the attacking half. 90 seconds remains. Souffle's just walked down into blue. They had no idea. Oh, how does he not get that kill? How does he not get that kill? IDFC with a 180 flick of his life. And maybe just salvages the round. It should have been 5-on-3. It should have been blue control. And now they lose Pika. 4-3 and Gelida with a massive lifeline. I don't know anymore. I don't know anymore. Jogor opening kill. Blue lurk successful. Should have been 5-on-3 with good control close to sight. And they lose that round with 3 players still up on the defense. Gelida now get a 3rd round. 3-4. Lost for words.
Yeah, I don't think I really need to add too much more onto that. Everyone watching can see exactly what just happened. I don't need to repeat. And only just doubles down on my earlier point that this match has been very strange. Very, very strange. I think we can brush that one off though. Round 8 we go. Positive step forward though for Gelida. Again, defensive rounds. Important to stack them early here. Put pressure back on Direwolves. Do not get complacent. Don't expect the rounds to fall your way, given just how insane round to round has been, and even within the rounds, the ability for both teams to swing either way. It's really critical that you just keep your head down and grind away round by round. It's one of those games. Oh man, yeah, Souffle, you've got to be winning those. Don't even know how he was allowed to go that deep in towards blue. Tickled the shoulder, I think, missing that headshot. Well, round 8 we go then. Map clear from Direwolves would be suggested with their operator lineup. Jackal in play. Jogor likely is going to lurk down below. Double hard breach Thatcher to open up CC wall into cash. Jacuzzi an option as well in the late round.
Well, you just got to keep your focus though for Direwolves. You're doing certain things right. Double down on that. Keep focused on the good things. Don't worry about, okay, I whiffed here, a mistake there. Got to keep the mental in check. Certainly can't be getting tilted at this point. You're only going to get so many opportunities. Gelida, they certainly got out of the woods there on that round of Church Arsenal, but now above we go, top floor. That Consingle wall actually just got tricked off. That was a secondary hard breach that has, yeah, been wasted from Seal. They do have, of course, double hard breach, so it's not really the end of the world. But right now, they're still actually looking to just contest over towards Jacuzzi. In fact, they call over the Thatcher. It's like, hey, Souffle, can you come and help? And this time, Felix will actually use an exothermic charge to get that opened up. We'll do so successfully. But they still haven't opened up Jacuzzi. That's a bit of a concern right now.
Yeah, I mean, some teams opting at the moment not to open up Jacuzzi just to simplify things a little bit. Instead, they...
I'm assuming that was for a Claymore, by the way. The impact was just making sure there's no Claymore there so you can vault it.
Yeah. Yeah, some teams just lean heavily into the balcony pressure and a Logi drop.
Which he didn't get it.
No.
Will now. Oh, beautifully played from Mark. I mean, he does get his one. Souffle dead. 1 for 1. Pika was in a good position to get that trade.
Oh, yeah, good read there from Direwolves. Ill-advised flank from IDFC shut down. Advantage now for the attack. Question now being, with a minute on the clock, can they actually convert it?
Yeah. I mean, at this point, I got no idea. I really don't have a clue. Direwolves might have the extra player, but I don't know if they're going to be able to still beat Gelida on the defense. 2 impacts still available for Sapper. Very aggressive position. You got smokes, you got flashes, and a drop from Felix in front of the window. There was a second player. Just have to hold the angle. They start moving around, and Direwolves do take the round. A 5th round and a first attacking round for Direwolves, and, well, some glum faces for Gelida. Understanding that they've lost on a primary site defense Clubhouse, and that gives a massive round over to Direwolves, who are now 1 round away from at least locking up OT.
Yeah, good work in the late round there from Dai was able to collapse onto site. Mark was the one to set the tone in the round, eventually executed that jump out. Good for his 1. Was traded though. Felix drops. A little bit of an unusual position to find himself in. They double down though, and off the back of that information, swing that particular position inside a bedroom, win fights elsewhere, win the round. And so a pretty swift response there in the end from Direwolves. Back-to-back rounds though already in the second half, where the entry has not converted into a round win. And that's been a storyline and a trend throughout this match. It's been very unreliable. Man advantages have not really amounted to much in this game, simply due to that advantage not typically being capitalized upon well, whether that be on attack or defense, and the ability for so many players inside of the server at the moment to have individual multiple performances as well. So we'll see how this round shapes up. Cache CCTV, especially with breach open, and the tools such as Capitator Clear Rafters can open up the defense significantly if played correctly. So let's see how Direwolves approach it.
I mean, that attacking round does also relieve a bit of pressure for Direwolves. Now for Gelida, what can they do in response? BCH going for his own juggle, which we saw Felix do so successfully in that opening half. Well, he feels like he completely mistimed that immediately. That is a 2.5 minute open up on towards Kennels, despite the bandit, despite an overall pressure from below. That is a significant win for Direwolves. I say significant, but maybe I'll retract that. It's a little win. Doesn't mean a whole lot. What it does mean is they can kind of rotate off very early in this round. They got more time to go elsewhere. Jogor, easy entry through Jacuzzi. So they can certainly get a lot of map control here. Gelida in a bit of a pickle. I like what Direwolves have done early in this round, but I will say big win condition here for Gelida. Sapper on the Solus, down below, I think around strip. He doesn't get droned out. They're not quite aware. It's actually Paul. And he's got a couple of options. He can go up main stairs, knowing full well there's one over towards gym bedroom, or he could go up through lounge. And I think he might opt for main stairs and catch this player off, who is Jogor. Lost him.
Well, minute 30 then. EMP to come down, and Felix eager to open up con wall, although it is the Salmers to get the job done anyway. That could be a route in towards the objective for a plant, the impact too late, and so a crouch hole in towards site, and they can plant to the hard right. Good denial tools, though, still available to defense. Nitro Cell available, and Sapper does continue to pose a threat down below as well. Basement currently. Flames to go down. DCH first fight, wins it out.
Looking for another one, and one up close. That's a nice kill for DCH. Losing a couple of teammates elsewhere. Sapper's still alive, needs to win this on site, and he does. A couple of flames you're going to be mindful of because so low on health, cannot step into that at all. Sapper on the other side of Con in through bedroom. Oh, the timing. Oh. A little tag on a Felix, but he does now give that information. DCH so low, caught on site. They're both on site now. Sapper needs to get a kill here quickly, and he cannot. Felix goes down, but he couldn't get the second. Direwolves have now got match and quarterfinal point.
Wow, another round where Direwolves able to brute force their way once again into the objective. Decently good clear. Losing that first fight, but responded pretty swiftly. Diffuser got stuck in a pretty awkward position as well, but another big whiff in this game from the defense. With that pressure mounting, proving to be costly, albeit it probably would have been traded anyway. Tactical timeout for Gelida.
Desperately needed, and now it feels like a long, long way back. I mean, even at this moment, DCH Swings gets this kill. 2-on-2. 3 in the round. Had Sapper flanking. Sapper just has to go a little bit earlier there. Well, Sapper a straight 1v1.
He took forever to flank. So you've either got to speed it up and actually help your teammate who's on an island, or you need to set yourself in a position where you are 100% or at least like 90% plus going to win that next fight. He did neither. Got stuck on an island, then whiffed, lost the fight. Never used his Solace Gadget down below for that plant denial potential as well. Now, it's not, I'm not pinning all the blame on him for losing that round or anything like that. The main breach clear was, you know, pretty good from Direwolves and really aided them to get in that position, but small little things like that, stacking up, and on the defense, you cannot be making those mistakes. A full rotation now beckons for Gelida to push this game to OT. They have the carrot dangling on the end of the stick. They have OT defense. They're more than likely going to win the game if they get it to overtime. Unfortunately, though, Direwolves on attack have been pretty brutal so far.
Yeah, I mean, credit to Direwolves. Absolute full credit. When you think about the series as a whole, 7-3 to Gelida, but they won 6 in a row on that map. They then won 4 of the first 5 on Chalet. So at a particular point in time, Gelida were 3 rounds away on Chalet from closing this out in 2 maps. Since that point, Direwolves have seriously just taken control, and Gelida have really struggled to have much of a say. Even here now on the attack of Club, Direwolves are just running rampant. Easy entry for Joe Gore into Garage. Of course, it is basement here for Gelida. No real extension, no real roam. I imagine they just don't want to put a foot wrong. But this is the problem. You go into your shell, now super defensive. You're not really going for any kind of denial of entry. They get easy map control. They sweep across. They get into good position. They open everything up. Yada, yada, yada. It becomes even harder. So you need some players at some point to go for a bit of counter-aggression. You've only got 1 Nitro Cell. That's Sapper on the pole. So how aggressive can you really get? IDFC over towards Secret on the Fenrir. Other than that, all 4 deep on site. I don't know if this is going to bode well at all for Gelida. They don't have even a mirror to play off of in Church. This is honestly a very susceptible defense on site.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think the 2 main operators to play around is going to be the Goyo stall out time and space, and then the Fenrir to swing on the those mines. Fortunately, though, Souffle on Twitch has the perfect operator to counteract both of those pieces of util. Shock drone sent through blue. We'll see what value it gets. Shot out though. So good work there from the defense. There's 1 more in the pocket. Struggle gets to work on Vert. He's currently being caught out by Sapper on the pulse. Nitro Cell not deployed yet. Sapper happy to just gather in for now. As I mentioned, only 1 Nitro in play this round, so really important that it's used properly.
60 seconds remaining. This is where you got to get some value from the pulse. But that cardiac scanner. We've also got the one and only Nitrocell, as you mentioned. Got to make the most of that. Sapper below, Nitrocell thrown up, and he does make an impact. A lasting one with the kill onto Joker. Now a player advantage for Gelida late into this match point round. Salma over towards this triple wall in towards Church, which will just make that a little volatile to a bot main push. Seal, pressure towards Blue with Candelas available for Pika. Gelida feels like they're holding on. Glasses can be activated for Mark on the Warden. He's going to be so important to stop that push from these Candelas. He activates. The glasses are up for Mark on the Warden. Red ping and yellow ping. Drop from Pika. It's pretty good. It gets the kill onto IDFC. DCH fell as well. Warden still up. Glasses still active. Punch goes down. Pika somehow stays alive. Thought he was going to be dead to rights for that moment. Pistol out for Sapper. Now with Felix getting the plant down. Sapper kill into Blue is strong with the pistol. And Mark can fall. Yes. So down to a 1 versus 2 now for Sapper. Here's the pulse. He can find some information. Goes for a pistol swing. Souffle puts an end to all of this. The quarterfinal is over. And look at what it means to this roster and this team. Onto the semifinals they go. Moving forward, we say goodbye to Gelida Esports. They are done for stage 1. And Joe Gore is incredibly excited at the prospect of facing Bleed in the semifinal.
Yeah, really well done by Direwolves. They casted some of the doubts aside this evening. Tough match. They really had to grind away at it. There were so many moments where they could have just put their head down and essentially given up in this best of 3, but they kept at it. They trusted in one another. Paid off in the end. And yeah, you can see how much it meant to them. A big game for them. And then unfortunately for Gelida, that's their one and done chance. They're out. See you back for stage 2.
Yeah, an incredible turnaround for that first half of the series, guys, where it was essentially 10 of 11 rounds won in a row at one point by Gelida. That feels like a lifetime ago, all things considered. Congratulations to Direwolves. They were sensational when it looked like they could be down and out. They dug deep and showed their mental fortitude. Commiserations for Gelida. Their campaign does come to an end. Officially, they will play a 5th place match later on next week or whenever. Doesn't really matter. Let's go back to the desk as they break it all down.
Yeah, we can definitely try to. A map that I think had so many of us scratching our heads for a couple of those rounds. Definitely swings the way of Direwolves. And this is the difference. We were saying this before the start of the show. We've been saying this all stage long. The difference between a good and a great team is when it comes down to it, when push comes to shove, when you get to BO3s, when you get to your quarterfinal, you have to show the grit. You have to show the determination. And Mandy, I don't think we could have asked for much more from Direwolves.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. Those guys absolutely ended up smashing it out of the park at the end on Clubhouse. It was a bit of a shaky first half, but the moment they went on the attack, it was just absolutely go time for those guys. There was a point where I was like, are these guys even like playing the win conditions of the map anymore? They're not like looking to get like hatches open and walls open and stuff. It's just like send a player into a really weird spot on the map, and that was enough to win them out the round. I just felt like, yeah, they just had so much energy as well going into that map too. You could see it on the player cams at the end there. They were so fired up in that last map.
Well, it's time to welcome in Harambe. Nice and quick, a quick turnaround, my friend. Congratulations on the win against Gelida. That's obviously a very big name to be taking down before your Bleed match. But I've got to ask you, that was a long series. How are the boys feeling after that one? Because we haven't seen too many BO3s for a while.
You know, it's just another day of scrim for us, yeah. It's normal for us, yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. Look, coming into this game against Gelida, we had Gelida picked as probably the favorites in this matchup. What was the preparation like? Well, I know we spoke to you last night and you guys felt comfortable coming into this, but what did it look like? What does it feel like coming into a game like this?
I did a lot of game preparation for the players, and it worked out super well. But for the first map, I let them to do like whatever they want, just to like warm up to get into the situation. And yeah, it turns out pretty good.
Yeah, I'd love to break down that map, Veto, with you, Harambe, because as you said, Bank was the first map. You already played Gelida on this like last week, and you lost it. But you said that you just let the team do what they wanted. So was the strategy always, from a big picture level, to go and win your map and then win Clubhouse? What was the thought process behind these picks?
I believe that Gelida has the confidence to win us on Bank, so I don't want the players to focus so much on Bank, so move their like mental and concentration to the next 2 maps. Yeah.
It's really interesting to hear from you as well. Once you actually hit Chalet and Clubhouse, things really started to go your way. When there were opportunities to talk to the team, what were some of the things that you were reminding them of? Like you said earlier, you did a lot of prep work going into this matchup. Are there small things that you were telling the team to do? Are you willing to reveal any of them to us? That'd be interesting.
Yogo, go kill! That's it. That's all I can say.
Oh, come on. Surely we can pry more from you on that one, Harambe. Look, obviously this was a big game, and yeah, okay. We'll keep it locked. We'll keep it under lock and key. That's fair. You now go up against Bleed, and that game is going to be incredibly intriguing. Obviously, you've got a full week away. You've not given us anything away just yet, but is there anything you can tell us? Is there any feeling you've got about this matchup? Do you think that you've got skin in the game?
We're gonna beat them. That's it. Period.
I'm gonna clip it and ship it, brother. That's all. I'm clipping this moment.
Don't
and
jinx
that is
it,
going
please.
on
Don't jinx
socials.
it. Don't
no,
jinx
it's
it.
too late. It's too late. You're the one that I didn't do anything. Don't look at me. Harambe, obviously high spirits after a very big match from you guys. Is there anything you'd like to say before we let you go?
Actually, no. Just watch the game and enjoy.
Jeez, you are a man of few words, and it just hits the spot, my friend. We will speak to you hopefully next week, my friend. Take care.
Hopefully.
Well, they go up against Bleed next, so they need that hopeful spirit. They need that mentality. But Dev, there's a lot that our good friend Harambe is not giving us there.
Yeah, I did notice that he actually didn't answer my question. I don't think that was... Sometimes when we get interviewees, like, they don't answer the question because they like forgot the question or whatever. He very deliberately did not want to talk about Chalet and Clubhouse. And I thought that was a bit cheeky from him, but I respect it. I was trying to pry a little bit more than perhaps he was willing out of that one. But we did get an inkling, and I really do like the idea of hearing that, like, they actually didn't really care about Bank. That, I think, especially for less experienced teams, is actually quite hard to get through. Just be like, just treat Bank like a bit of a warm-up, like work on your mechanics, like work on your fundamentals. But at the end of the day, we're probably going to lose this map. They're really good on it. It's not one of our main maps. Then we focus on Chalet, which we've played to death, but maybe we can beat Gelida on it, and then Clubhouse, which they looked amazing on attack, by the way. Like, those basement executes were something else. And now for Direwolves, I think this has actually put into perspective their whole stage, Rob. Like, you look back, and I was pretty convinced that, like, we had a top three, right? Which was Elevate, Fury, and Bleed. And then I thought we had, like, basically Gelida just, like, in fourth, and that was, like, solidly fourth. Direwolves solidly fifth, and we had a bottom three. And I think that if you look back at the results now, like, the only games Direwolves has dropped to Bleed, 7-4, close enough. To Fury, 7-5. Very close. And to Gelida, 7-5. But now that they've beaten him in a BO3, I think it's clear that Direwolves are the better team right now. So I think this really does lift Direwolves at least up into the top four in my mind. And that is reflected, of course, in the bracket as now they've made the semi-finals. If they can be Bleed, though, like, far out, you know, go make the major, Direwolves. Maybe you can redeem the brand of this team, which once was the undisputed best team in the region for quite a time, where they went undefeated. Back in 2022, they went overseas and they had a really solid effort. Like, if these guys could go at it again, I'd be massively impressed, because we just haven't seen Direwolves return to that form of several years ago.
No, Mandy, it's probably the most gutsy thing I've ever heard a coach say. Go enjoy map 1, because we're going to be locking in for map 2 and 3. That takes guts, but from my opinion, I'd like to get your thoughts on this. That to me instills confidence in the team and the players. I mean, is this potentially maybe is there a bit more bite behind this Direwolves roster?
Okay, to me, that's like a double-edged sword, in my opinion. Because one, I think what it does show for teams watching is that the Direwolves map pool probably isn't that big. I mean, if they have 2 auto bans straight away, that means they're essentially going to be playing a map that they don't want to be playing all the time in the first pick, which to me is like a bit red flaggy, if you're asking me. So to me, like, yes, if you want to have the mindset of winning maps 2 and 3, then go ahead, you can do it, I guess, but that requires a lot of stamina to continue that energy management throughout the entire 3 maps. I know that a lot of teams train on 3 maps at a time anyway, so they're probably used to it, but it's still a gamble, and I don't know, I don't know if I'm willing to take that gamble, you know, from the engineer. Gotta have some redundancy in your plans, you know, so that is a no redundancy plan, if you ask me. That has no margin of safety.
No margin of safety or margin of error, Dev. But look, to be fair, if you look back at Direwolves of the old, that kind of feels like it sums them up. It was always it always felt like a little bit of a gamble. They were always looking a little bit dangerous. This roster obviously goes up against Bleed in their semi-finals. Surely you can't be doing that. Surely you can't be leading into a match like that in a BO3, just releasing one map instantly.
Yeah. I don't know. I think, Direwolves are really starting to get back to the form of old, and Souffle having a real stellar performance across the series. Can I just say that? 9 multi-kills is pretty insane. Like,
That's
3 maps.
mental.
Yeah. And, Souffle, for a long time, he was the star fragger of this roster back in the day. Now he's one of the veterans, and, it's time for players like Joe Gore and Seal to do most of that, but he's still putting up these insane performances, which is great because you look holistically across the stage thus far, and he actually has had a slightly negative. He's been pretty average, just below average as a performance, but in the big games, he comes through.
Certainly does, and Direwolves going to need more of that in their next game against Bleed, but that will have to wait until next Wednesday. What doesn't have to wait until next week is our final quarterfinal of the night. Elevate, they take on Knock Knock up after this. There we go. We'll give that one another try. See you after.